Lots of little things that we're going to slowly get better with.
Jimmy W., good morning. You're new. If you've been here before, I've not noticed the name. You other two, you're here all the time.
Morning, everybody.
You know that's just sarcasm, Javier and Deadstroke.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday. Hope your week's going well. We're over the hump. In fact, Miller and Moulton, we have a best of show tomorrow. So there, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X as we head into a long Father's Day weekend, at least for the two of us. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well. Busy day yesterday, lots going on, but accomplished everything I needed to accomplish. Even had a couple of donuts, which made the day better. So it was a good day all in all. Won a little money on the golf course. No complaints here. No complaints. World Cup delivers again. It has done it literally. There's been one day in which I would say it has been a day. Other than that, there have been games that have gone into extra time being tied. There have been tremendous goals. There have been unusual results, not always with upsets, but with ties. And as you World Cup fans know, sometimes a tie is a pretty big upset. Had one again yesterday. So that has delivered. Baseball season's churning along, and the U.S. Open starts in 30 minutes.
Does your mood depend on winning money on the golf course?
No.
So you're okay if you have to dip into your pocket?
There's a little trick we play with some of the guys that I play golf with. The bet is typically the same every time. We're not high rollers by any means, but at our club, we bet more. The guys I play with bet more than I think anybody else out there, because our game is either a $30 game or a $40 game. That's just what it is, going in. So my philosophy, and I've been a member there for about 10 years now, my philosophy is it costs me $30 to golf. If I get back any money, I feel as if I've won. I never feel as if I lost. It's $30 to play. If I get a skin and I get back $20, I got back $20 today. Great. I only feel badly if I play horribly and I because we have a lot of team games. I do feel guilty if I play like a schmuck and our team loses and I feel like it's because of me. That bums me out, but I don't get mad over it.
So for the most part, you're tricking yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So you're playing like a little mind game with yourself.
Right. Like this free gymnastics camp that I'm going to.
No, exactly. They were playing that with you.
Well, yes, but I play the same game with myself on the golf course. And if I win any money, I'm in an even better mood.
Well, see, now going forward, when your wife discusses whether or not we should renew the membership, what you have to say is that, honey, all my rounds of golf are paying for the free gymnastics camps.
Exactly.
And when she looks at you funny, you go, I could sit down and explain it to you, or you could just take my word for it.
Yeah, she'd have to pull out a notebook like you and well, let's balance this out. I'm not playing that game.
Kind of like the, as Reese Davis famously said way back when, little trickeration.
Yes,
Do what you gotta do.
This is the dollar in the jar that Lou Holtz have to give for getting excited about the highlight that he had just seen.
Right. It's a dollar that we said that we were going to throw into a jar every time one of us said San Diego Chargers or, Washington Redskins or something like that.
I think I said Florida Marlins yesterday. I'm not positive, but I went to break. Did I just say Florida Marlins? I think I did. I may have just said Marlins. And I'm not going to listen back to find out. And usually there's someone to point it out for me in the chat room. But I think I made that mistake yesterday. And I went to break going, if I didn't say it, I sure as hell thought it.
Well, I made the mistake on Monday. One of the times that I was talking about Carolina winning the Cup, I referred to the Hurricanes as the Panthers. So,
well, look at David. One's a Stanley Cup champion, the other one's a division champion. I see, just a history of winning there.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. When you think championships, you think Charlotte or Raleigh.
So really quickly here, I'm going to give you a little crap just because it seems like fun. Since you've come back on nearly every day, have I talked about the World Cup?
Oh, yeah.
Have I been watching all of the World Cup?
Much to my surprise and almost shock. Yes.
So yesterday, and maybe he's watched more, but yesterday David watched his second game. He watched USA on Friday, and yesterday he watched England. Now, I was actually very busy at the time. I had the game on, and I got a series of questions from David, one of which, are you at the British Open Pub? Because they're our sponsor for the games, and I couldn't make it there yesterday, and I just said no. But then I got play-by-play of every goal for like 45 minutes. I started laughing at one point so hard. It's like, just because I'm not there doesn't mean I'm not.
Oh, hold on. That's a very unfair swipe. You had told me what your schedule was. All right. And so I thought I was doing you a solid because you were on your way from point A to point B, and I would just have you updated on what was going on, even though I now know how much you love your soccer on the radio. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm never without it. Come on now. And I was a little pissed off at Fox yesterday because it wasn't, I got to see if the Soccer FC channel on Sirius is giving me radio play-by-play, because I simply went to the Fox station on Sirius and they were just giving me a simulcast, and that's junk. That's horrible. I need names. I need descriptions. I need what's going on. I don't need conversation here. I want to know how many passes are completed in a row. Don't give me this simulcast on radio. That does nothing for me.
Well, Mark, I have to be honest. You shouldn't have been upset in the first half because there was really only one name you needed to know. And that was Harry Kane. Harry Kane. Harry Kane has done it again. Oh, the great man, Harry Kane, makes it 2-1 England.
First off, there's no need to do it in that accent because the announcers were American. So you weren't getting that at all. You know what you were getting? Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane. And that, I think, had me upset right off the get-go because I don't need an American describing soccer to me.
You need at least Ian Dark, right? You need to at least start there.
And the guys who did the game yesterday are going to do the next England game. They said so. Bunch of, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? But I mean, I'd already gone through a 1-1 Portugal game. We got plenty of questions right now. Is one of the greatest players ever passed? Is he done? I mean, do they need him out in Portugal? I mean, there's a problem going on with a very highly favored team getting a draw early on. David, where do you want to go with? I mean, you go Harry Kane. I'll go Portugal with you. I mean, let's go.
Fortunately, Portugal's got a group where they can recover from a tie that they shouldn't have had, but
so does everybody. That's the problem.
Tell me about it. I mean, who doesn't have to recover from a tie besides England and the U.S.? My goodness. And, well, Messi. Is he just going to be his own, like, line in the standings?
I
My
mean,
goodness.
it is astonishing at 40 years old, nearly 40, what he was able to do, because Ronaldo looked his age yesterday for what it's worth. But that's a little football to start. We have football to talk about today. Pat Kirwan is on the show. The U.S. Open tees off in 25 minutes. I believe 6:35, I think, are the first tee times at today's U.S. Open.
Front and back.
Right.
So you get 6 golfers at 6:35, yes. Which, by the way, is not very light out. Even at the end of Long Island, okay?
Right.
It's not very light out.
Right. You're pretty far east in the time zone. You're pretty far north for this time of year. However, I'm curious what the range was like this morning, if you know what I mean. A little dark.
Love that. I always love that. Just, remembering back to my youth golf days in which there you are, 5:15 a.m., okay? And as the guy got into the range yet, there's 20 of you waiting for your little half bucket of balls or just permission to go on the range, okay? Hey, come on, buddy. You got to get here. If you guys are going to schedule us with a 6:50 tee time, somebody's got to have their butt in the shed.
So we've got it all going on. The Rays, dang it, they played well against the Dodgers. I mean, they really did. Problem is they lost every damn game, 3 one-run games, as the Rays get swept by the Dodgers over the course of the last 3 days.
Mark, remember 2 years ago, the Panthers played the Canes in a conference final, and the Panthers swept them. And it was the best sweep that we had ever seen. Every game was a 1-goal game. 2 of them went to overtime. It was a tremendous series, and yet it was 4 spit. Okay, I have a feeling that if the Rays and the Dodgers met in the World Series, it would be a tremendous 4 or 5 game World Series. And the Dodgers might win every game, but the games would be tremendous.
So the Rays have a tough West Coast trip because they lost 2 or 3 to the Angels as well. So it's been a tough trip on the Rays. The Marlins able to squawk out a win yesterday. But we've got golf, we've got soccer, we've got some football to talk about. I feel like my studio at home is finally complete because this morning, to ensure that I would be able to watch the U.S. Open, I've got the TV up and running. The Fire Stick came up with me this morning.
Nice.
We're good to go. I can either watch local news or golf. So we'll be ready. We'll be able to give you some live updates from Shinnecock where they get going for the U.S. Open.
USA Network, I believe, is the big network today if you're wanting to watch.
Yeah, that is correct. We may even try to find a poll question. I'm in such a good mood this morning.
Wow. Look at you.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
I've got the question. I've got 2 answers. I'm going to need 2 more. I might solicit the chat room for a little help. I might even solicit you for a little help. We've got Christopher Powers to talk golf coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Pat Kirwan, as always, at 8 o'clock on Thursdays in the offseason. And we will talk about tomorrow's big game between the USA and Australia with Glenn Davis. Pulisic has not practiced with the team and been doing his own thing. Is he going to be healthy enough to play 3 o'clock tomorrow? The starting 5, 25 minutes away.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. FloorMeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ooh, I like that, Javier. I like that. That's funny. So Trent is, he is LeBron's way better than Jordan. And so he wouldn't let it go for about a day. It was actually getting irritating. It's like, Trent, I've moved on a long time ago. Let's go. So he kind of extends it to a second day. And then around 8 o'clock, he says, hey, I got Tim Hardaway for 9. Perfect. So I jump on X to see what Tim Hardaway said recently, if anything, and he basically doesn't have LeBron in his top 5. Trent, you can't give me something like that. So we get Tim on, and obviously, we're all about the same age. Tim, I said, I know you know Trent, great kid. I said, but he's a young buck. I said, and he keeps trying to tell me that LeBron's better than Mike Owen. Tim, I said, I'm just some dumb radio host. Been doing this a while, but you kind of played the game. You're in this thing called the Hall of Fame. Would you like to answer this question for me? And he goes, well, I only got 10 minutes. I need about an hour to take care of him on this. And he just fillets Trent. It was so funny. Trent books the guest, and I kill Trent with the guest that he books.
If you're going to hold on to a stupid take, eventually you have to be taken down.
I think it's just 2 answers the more I think about my poll question. What is the perfect Father's Day gift? A nice steak dinner, to be left alone. The difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day right there. Although my wife, I think, is at the point where she'd prefer to just be left alone. Are there more options that are needed? I think that's it. I'm not sure what else is needed. I guess you could put you know what? We're going to add an option. Spend time with family, just because I want to see how infrequently that's answered. There it is. We got 3 questions. Start and show. There she is. Look at that. Get it up here on this X platform. Me, Gavin Baugh, me. I want to buy steak badly. Had to deal with the country club manager yesterday, talking about the Knicks. Ay, ay, ay.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Starting 5 is coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. So you have not had the urge to do a poll question this week, but you have a big urge to do one today, and you're even wanting to solicit help with it. So do tell, what is it?
Well, since we're taking tomorrow off and it's Father's Day weekend, and I'm not getting what I want on Father's Day weekend, I'm asking all of you what you want. And I left it up to 3 choices. What is the perfect Father's Day gift? A nice steak dinner, spend time with family, or to be left alone? I know what your answer is, David. To be left alone. If it's not to be left alone, even with everything that's going on with you, and you appreciate family maybe more now than ever before. And I'm the same way. But you don't like the U.S. Open nearly as much as I do. You like sports drama. And if the tournament's a tournament, even if it's not your favorite, if there's something going on with 6 holes left, 9 holes left, you want to be left alone and watch the Open. Even you do, because you love sports drama.
Right. J.J. Spawn, Robert McIntyre. Hey, came down to the last green. Don't know what to tell you. Guy's got a 2-putt from 65 feet. He decides to hole it instead. Oh, okay.
Right. So that's the question. What is the perfect Father's Day gift? If you're not watching us on twitch.tv or on youtube.com, and doing it the old-fashioned way, wherever you may be, Connecticut, Alabama, Florida, you can always text the show. 21,000 is the number. The keyword's Miller if you've never texted the show before. And if there's something that's not on the list and you want to add, feel free.
I have to admit, though, I kind of wish there was a choice where I could have my steak and then be left alone. I mean, you know, to be left alone, in theory, you're then making me give up the steak.
Right. And 1 and 2 kind of go together, because if you're having a nice steak dinner, the odds are you're spending time with family.
Oh, it's true. It's true. So I guess I have to give up the steak.
There you go. It's a hard choice. I have a question for you.
Okay.
A little off the Father's Day thing. We could go there. I could save this, but you are a sucker for a diva wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Always have been, always will be. What about a brash quarterback?
Love them.
Because the guy you love, I mean, the quarterback that you have the man crush on more than any other guy in the league, it's not Mahomes. This guy's only been to a Super Bowl. Didn't win it. It's Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not Joe Burrow, it would be Jaden Daniels for what it's worth. I think that's how David would rank his quarterback crush. And he and I are clicking. I might have Daniels ahead of Burrow because I love me some Jaden Daniels. But you see Joe Burrow yesterday? Joe Burrow said his Bengals team this year reminds him of the 2019 LSU team.
Boy, we could insert a few jokes here, couldn't we?
I want everybody talking about the Bengals. I feel like there's so much greatness that we're going to be able to achieve this year.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad that you're finding your inner cockiness again. Good. Okay, find it, because you guys have woefully underachieved for 3 years now. So find it, channel it. Don't just talk the talk it and walk it there, big fella.
I mean, he didn't go Sorsby and say he bet on himself to win the Super Bowl, but it was walking right up to that line. Sorry,
Cool.
I'm going to use that for a few months here. I'm going to enjoy that while I can, David.
You do that. Good. I want him walking it and talking it. Damn right. Don't know how much longer we can keep all these amigos on the one side of the ball together.
Right.
Okay, it's time to go. Let's do it. And yeah, that LSU team defensively, it was average. But that's the greatest offensive college football team I've ever seen.
By the way, and they don't like to fire people in Cincinnati, but we talked yesterday at length that Todd Bowles is on a hot seat this year. There's no doubt in anyone's mind. How much of a hot seat is Zach Taylor on, being the only coach remaining in that division from a year ago? And as you said, he and they have woefully underachieved. And now being the long-standing, most tenured coach in that division, do they have extra pressure on them? I mean, like extra cheese on your pizza?
Well, think about how quickly he's risen up the tenure rankings. He's now number one in his division, correct?
Yep.
Weren't 3 of the 4 head coaches replaced? Oh, no, 2 of the 4 were replaced in the AFC East.
Right.
Glenn and Vrabel are both entering year 2.
Right. And then you look at the AFC West. Peyton's been there for a half a minute.
Right. Reed's been
Vegas,
there
new
a
coach
long time.
And Harbaugh's new, newer than Zach Taylor with the LA Chargers.
Right. And he's yet to win a playoff game also.
Taylor's been there longer than Liam Cohen. I mean, go
Now,
right down the list here.
Taylor has done something. He's gone to 2 AFC championship games and gone to a Super Bowl. But I don't think he can afford a 4th consecutive year of missing the playoffs. And it doesn't matter that 2 of the previous 3, they went 9-8. In a way, it makes it worse.
Right, because they were not. I guess if you're 9-5 and lose the last 3, to me, it's the same as being 5-8 and winning the last 4. You weren't part, I mean, one's not worse than the other. They equally suck.
Right. Both very disappointing.
Right.
Yep. So I don't think he can afford them to miss the playoffs. I don't. And I think that'd be justified. I mean, you go to 2 straight AFC championship games, and then you follow it up. Same quarterback, by the way, and you follow it up with 4 straight years of missing the playoffs. I don't want to hear the circumstances. Don't want to hear it. I mean, the Steelers have managed to make the playoffs, and at no point in time in the last 4 years have we thought they were any good.
I mean, to compare it with the Father's Day poll question, David, the Bengals, that disappointment's kind of like saying you're getting taken out for a steak dinner and then they take you to, what restaurant I want to say, but I'm going to be nice and not say it.
Good.
You all know what I'm talking about.
Good.
We need sponsors too badly for me to disparage any company at this point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Even that one.
Okay, now.
You do the ads for them, but you know what I'm saying. I'd take their money.
Now, we get 3 or 4 to sign back up,
Oh,
forget it.
exactly.
I won't be able to keep them down.
It is the one thing about me being a bit of a food snob when I'm watching not just Freddie in Germany, but there are so many Europeans that are posting their love for all these restaurants. And I'm like, really? Is the food that bad there? This is what you think's fantastic? Good for you. Good for you. Enjoy the Golden Corral. But yes. So Joe Burrow channeling his inner diva, getting his swagger back heading into the season.
Listen, you play and score points the way 2019 LSU did. You can wear any damn outfits to the Met that you want. I don't care.
And even though he ended up not getting it, he can drive the Batmobile there, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yep. He can be dating Catwoman, not be dating Catwoman. Don't care. You score like 2019 LSU, you the man. Starting 5 is next.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Attaway, NY Jets. You knew where I was going. You knew exactly where I was going. Okay. I know, Spitz, you're right. There's plenty of light. They can't see 5 feet in front of their face right now, just for the record. It is so foggy, they cannot see. It can't, like, people just, it's first off, the flags are standing. It's blowing so hard. And you can see on camera about 100 feet behind them. And then that's it. Then it's just fog. Oh, it looks awful.
Used to love caddying in mornings like this, and your golfer would hit the tee shot. And of course, you know, I'm standing right there, but what can I see? Just because I'm carrying the bag doesn't mean I can see. And so he'd go, "Where is it?" And I'd go, "It sounded right." And, where is it?
I hate that from a golfer where, if you look at, and I'm right now a 12 handicap, where your ball went. 99 times out of 100, you know what direction your ball went in. You know by your swing if you were quick and you pulled it and hooked it, or if you left it wide open, or if you hit it good. You know by the sound, you know by your swing. I hate that.
The only possibility, like I would occasionally toe a drive because I hook the ball off the tee. I would occasionally toe a drive. But I agree with you, Mark. If you're a decent golfer.
If you toe a drive, the odds are it's going left. You're going to hook that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you know by how you hit it. Like, I didn't see it. I know it went right. Did you see? Like, I was wide open. Did anybody see that? Like I said, every once in a while, it happens to all of us. We just don't know where it went.
The only thing is sometimes if you toe a ball, it'll start a little further in one direction and it ends up actually further in an opposite direction. But I agree with you. If you're a decent golfer, you have a general idea where that ball is.
It was blowing yesterday. I had a crappy drive on a hole, and I'm like, I was going to try to hit a miraculous shot to the green. I'm like, that's a bad idea. Just hit the ball in the fairway and try to hit your wedge on and make 4. So I hit a perfect second shot. And I was 3 feet over the water. I was like, damn. I thought I was another 30 yards down in the middle of the fairway. I'm like, because I got around the corner of my cart. I'm like, is that my ball? Holy crap. It was blowing yesterday. Yeah, you're right. Late early might be the draw. Although it's supposed to blow all day. Oh, there's your first tee shot. All right, the tracker's yeah, they're it's foggy, but it's not miserable foggy. Oh my God, that rough is long. Three and a half under par. Where are you going? 30-mile-an-hour gust right now.
Yesterday you said 4.5.
I know I've taken one away.
Yeah, I see. That's just.
I'm looking at the conditions. I can adjust.
I'll go over 3.5.
That looks a long ways right, sir. I don't know why you're showing. Oh, he did get it in the short grass. All right.
Over under 2.5 over par to win.
Under. Caleb Surratt, 6:30, making his U.S. Open debut.
Hello.
Right. You know what? If I'm making my debut, I like this tee time. There's not a lot of people on the first tee. I get the hell out and let's go.
Done by noon.
Right. We played in 3 hours and 10 minutes yesterday. It was effing glorious.
I think that's.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Christopher Powers, 1 hour from now to talk all things golf in the U.S. Open. Pat Kirwan, a little more than an hour, his weekly chat of all things NFL. Glenn Davis in a couple hours to talk about the World Cup. And we'll dig deep a little bit into USA Australia, which is tomorrow afternoon. But we'll dig deep with Glenn Davis in a couple hours' time. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
And we'll start with golf in the U.S. Open, which is officially underway at Shinnecock. The 6th time the course near the end of Long Island is hosting the national championship. In the 5 previous U.S. Opens, only 3 golfers have managed to finish under par. Mark, over under, even par. I'll even give you even par as an under. What are you taking?
Ooh, I would take over. I would.
Yeah, I would also. In fact, I'm trying to think how much over.
I think +1, +2 will win.
Would you go as high as +3?
No, I would
Okay.
not.
All right.
I would not, because the thing of it is, though, is it's been blowing, and apparently, I mean, they've had to water the course. What I do wonder is if they get rain today and tomorrow morning, like they are talking, will that help the greens? But at the end of the day, if it helps the greens, the USGA will just try to screw the golfers. That's the part of this you just don't know, David.
The first golfers have teed off. They teed off literally 5 minutes ago. Scotty Scheffler is the betting favorite. JJ Spawn is the defending champ. Speaking of Scheffler, he says he's not really thinking about it and not motivated by it, which I don't believe him. And I hope what he's saying is not the truth, because if he were to win, he'd win the career Grand Slam. And considering 6 men in the history of the sport have done it, I'd like to think that would be something you'd strive for. But he's a different duck. USA Network is where you want to go today from now until 5 in the afternoon to watch your U.S. Open golf. Baseball. Marlins avoid the sweep in Philly. Kyle Stowers with 2 homers, 5 RBIs. They whooped up on the Phillies 12-4. Braves have lost 6 of 7. It wasn't a doubleheader, at least not scheduled, but they played 16 and a half innings yesterday, so it felt like one. The Braves lost both games to the Giants. They picked up the suspended game, trailing 3-2 in the second. They lost that one 7-2. Then the regularly scheduled game, they lost 7-5. So the Braves have lost 6 of 7, and their lead in the East is still 6.5. Although the Dodgers and Brewers have caught up in terms of best overall record in the National League.
Yeah, in fact, the Braves are third. I mean, it's
Right.
really close, but it's Dodgers, Brewers, Braves at this point in time. Very, very close.
Mets, Bo Bichette's getting hot. They needed it. He had 3 hits. They avoid the sweep in Cincinnati 9-1. Mark, you mentioned the Brewers. They've won 4 of 5. They beat Cleveland 9-4. Guardians still tied for first. We'll get to the White Sox in a moment. Cubs scored 7 in the second, beat Colorado 8-6. Ryan O'Hearn with 6 RBIs. Pirates tripled up the A's 12-4. It was a really well-played, fun, entertaining series in Los Angeles, unless you're a Rays fan, because you got swept. You lost 3 one-run games. 2 of them you had the lead in the 6th. Dodgers got a 2-run homer from Freddie Freeman in the 6th to take a 5-4 lead and hold off the Rays by that very score. You combine the Rays losing 5 of 6 in Los Angeles with the Yankees now winning 4 in a row. Bellinger and Goldschmidt homered. Yankees double up the White Sox 10-5. Yankees in a week now lead by 3.5. Toronto, Max Scherzer was supposed to start for him yesterday. He ends up going on the IL. So Toronto doesn't have a starting pitcher for the game. So they say, well, we're going to have to go to the bullpen. Yeah, they used 7 pitchers and shut out the Red Sox 3-0. Kyle Bradish with 12 strikeouts in 7+ innings. Orioles beat the Mariners 5-3. Royals avoid the sweep in D.C. They beat the Nats 6-2. Astros got 7 innings of 2-hit ball from Peter Lambert in a 4-2 win over the Tigers. Arizona got a grand salami from Corbin Carroll in an 8-1 win over the Angels. And the Padres avoid the sweep in St. Louis. They beat the Cardinals 6-1. World Cup, Harry Kane scored twice in the first half. England doubled up Croatia 4-2. Very exciting match. Very exciting. Croatia may still come out of that group in second. Ghana beat Panama 1-0, scoring the only goal of the match in the 95th minute, 5 minutes into second half stoppage time, which really is about the 100th minute, the way they're giving away stoppage time because of the water breaks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's your reason behind it. With our water breaks, you're adding on 3 minutes each half guaranteed.
Colombia beat Uzbekistan 3-1. And Portugal had a bunch of chances, but couldn't bury the biscuit, not in the second half. And they tie the Congo at 1. Not good for Ronaldo and company. Today, 4 matches, 3 of them on Fox. Noon, Czechia, South Africa. 3 o'clock, Switzerland and Bosnia-Herzegovina. And 9 o'clock tonight, Mexico against South Korea. The FS1 match at 6 is Canada and Qatar. Mark, I was inclined to put a couple shekels on North Carolina baseball because in the Super Regional at home, they trailed in the deciding game 3-1 in the 8th and 3-2 in the 9th. And North Carolina has underachieved for a generation in the College World Series. But they managed to score 2 runs in the 9th to beat USC and get to Omaha, and they haven't lost since. They whooped up on West Virginia 12-7. And while we're at it, Oklahoma hasn't lost since the Super Regional either. They whooped up on Georgia for a second time, 11-4. So beginning Saturday, your best of 3 national championship series is North Carolina and Oklahoma. Speaking of Oklahoma, Trae Young used to play there. And he played with the Atlanta Hawks. Then he got traded last year to the Washington Wizards. Mark, did you hear what Trae Young did yesterday?
I did not.
Trae Young declined his player option for next year to become an unrestricted free agent. Now, he's doing it off a season in which he was hurt twice and he played 15 total games. But Mark, he declined his player option when the Washington Wizards were due to pay him $49 million. $49 million.
That's someone that doesn't want to play for the Washington Wizards.
It sure does sound like it, doesn't it? Supposedly, teams besides the Wizards are interested. We'll see. Remember when Luka and Trae Young were traded for one another in the draft?
Interesting. Yes.
James Dolan is the owner of the Knicks. He came out yesterday and said, yeah, the second apron is, quote, not an option for us, unquote. Well, that means there's going to be some changes to the Knicks next year. Because right now, if they just bring everybody back on existing contracts, they'll be in the second apron. So I guess there's going to be changes in New York. So try to watch the parade today if you're a Knicks fan. This will be the last time you see the team look like this. Hockey, Vegas promotes the AHL coach. Ryan Craig becomes their head coach. Toronto hires Jim Hiller, who was a longtime assistant in Toronto before becoming head coach of the Kings the last 2 years. And the NHL came out yesterday and said Yeah, we had our highest rated playoffs ever. So take that. Now, that still meant like 5 million people watching the final and the average NHL playoff game drawing around 2 million people. But highest ratings ever for the NHL. And at 10 minutes before the hour mark, that was starting five. 5 big stories you need to know here on Miller and Moulton.
So I'm torn a little bit, and just give me a second with hockey, because I hate retreads. Anybody who's listened to me knows that I don't like him in any sport. I have become comfortable with guys getting their second shot in the National Football League because there's nowhere to get your feet wet, really. You know, it's different than college. I think it's probably more the same now at the collegiate level than it's ever been with what we're now dealing with college football. But I get it that sometimes you need to be a coach before you know how to be a coach. So with that being said, I'm very happy for Vegas hiring their AHL coach. More of these guys need chances. They do. I mean, if you look at who the coaches we regard as some of the best coaches in the game, John Cooper's at the top of the list. This is his first NHL job. He did nothing but win at every level he'd ever coached at before. Now, Brenda Moore didn't have any other teams that he coached. We know that he played for Carolina and was their captain. But he didn't have any experience, and he just won the Stanley Cup. My guy in Colorado, which I was very happy to see last week, Joe Sakic's going to keep Jared Bednar on. Jared Bednar worked from a player in the ECHL to an assistant in the ECHL to a head coach in the ECHL before getting an American League job, and now he coaches Colorado. So you can do it different ways. Like when Peter Laviolette's getting, I think, his 7th job to coach LA. What do they think they're going to get? Like, seriously. And I knew he had no shot, but I happen to know the AHL coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've known him since we were like 18 years old. He married my best friend's sister. He's a good guy, good human being. I knew he didn't have a shot for the Leafs job, but he has their AHL team in the Calder Cup final right now. And they hire a guy who basically couldn't get anything done with the LA Kings. This GM in Toronto made a trade for a goalie trade that everybody gives Philly hands down the win on the trade. Philly got like a B plus, and the Leafs get a C. Anywhere you look on that trade. And now they go get a guy from the LA Kings because they couldn't get the coach of Denver, the college coach in Denver, who's a hot commodity, who won't leave. Patrick Waugh was considered. He didn't get it. So they go Jim Hiller. Man, I know no one cares down here about the Leafs, and the ones that do went back north for the summer. But good luck, boys. Good luck. Austin Matthews, you need to tell Toronto, BS. Trade me right blanking now. You need to go Denny Lemieux.
Well, apparently Austin Matthews and a few others are the reason he got the job, because he was an assistant about 6-7 years ago, and those that have been there a while apparently raved about him. At least that's what the GM said. Of course, nobody should believe a word that GM says. He's a known liar.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web, It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Jules, that's illegal voting. You can't vote on a Father's Day question. You're a woman. I do not want that cat on me. He scratches. Well, that's why you don't pick him up. Phony's phony. I hate to tell you, I'll call you out. Look at you. You change your names. You've changed your name to 100 times. It's still the same guy. We know who you are. You're just honest. Your honesty is usually a little negative, though.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Appreciate you being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Christopher Powers will join us later on this hour. We'll talk a little golf in the U.S. Open, which is already underway. Can they see the golf ball when they tee it up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in fact, David, you can see it looked like on the first hole, and they're hitting irons off the first tee mostly, but it looked like you could not only see that take off, you could see it land. So you can see about 242. I mean, you probably can see your drive. I don't know how well they can see the green, if you know what I mean, but I think they can see where they're hitting their tee shots, and it'll get better quickly. But I always, before these tournaments in the States, add that city onto my WeatherBug app. And literally, as you were starting the starting five, I got an alert telling me of a dense fog advisory in Shinnecock Hills. So
here you go.
Drive safe, folks, if you're listening in that area. So it is, it obviously... Here's my question for you. And I hope everybody finishes. I hate guys that stink up the joint in WD. I don't think it's fair to your fellow competitors, and I don't think it's fair to the guys that you beat in qualifiers. Like if you got into this tournament through qualifying and then WD because you suck, that bothers me. So with that being said, 85.5. Will the worst score be greater than 85.5?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Oh, so you think that there's someone that's going to shoot, 88, 89 today?
Oh, I think a 90 is happening today.
I think that's pretty high, but I'm not saying it's not a possibility.
I think a qualifier, okay, could be an amateur, okay, but I think a qualifier, and remember, that's 20 over par, because this is par 70.
Right.
But, I think we'll see a 90 today.
Because obviously, I've got it on in the background, and as we were in commercial break, there was a gentleman who started on the back who bogeyed 10, and I wasn't paying enough attention, but I just looked up quickly, and he's got about a 12-footer for par on 11. And that's what the U.S. Open is. The U.S. Open is how many 6 to 10 foot par putts are you going to make in order to win this sucker? Like, if you brought up Koepka the other day when he won here and he came in and played the last 6 holes even par. It wasn't 2 putts and 3 footers to make it.
No,
you got to make some putts, and they're not easy. If anybody spent any time on social media yesterday, the best video that I had seen was Rory attempt a 3-4 foot putt in which he putted the ball about 25, 30 feet up the hill and let it roll back to see if he could make it. And he damn near did. It was pretty, but it just showed you he just hit the ball to a point knowing that ball was coming right back to his feet.
I told the story before, but the mid-amateur champion was playing the 86 Masters. His name was Mike Podolak, and I think it was on 6, Mark, that they had a pin placement that was, and I know they don't call it that. That's why I did it on purpose. That was precarious, and Podolak hit it tight, but he was above the hole, and Gary Player said, "Nice shot, kid." Now remember, this is the mid-amateur champ. " Nice shot, kid. Okay. Don't 3-putt." And Podolak looked at him like, I know you're Gary Player, but that's pretty rude. And Player said, trust me, be careful with the first putt. And Podolak proceeded to putt it right off the green to make 5. So, there'll be a few of those. Hey, if Phil didn't run after his ball on 13 on Saturday 8 years ago and hit it while it was still moving, that sucker was going off the green.
So dense fog at Shinnecock. Winds are gusting. I mean, the flags were standing when they showed them. It's going to be a long day, kids.
We got an update in the chat room apparently on 12 right now. So that's obviously the third hole on the back 9. They're holding things up right now for poor visibility. Could you imagine? That's the first group. You're the first group off. A, first group off. B, off the back. C, third hole. They've got a weather delay.
So
just sign me up.
Well, it was, when I was lucky enough to go to Augusta, they had a fog delay the first day I was there. So it's not anything that's unusual in golf. You're trying to get that you have the second largest field of any tournament. The British has a larger field than the US Open. They also typically have a couple more hours of daylight this time of year up in Scotland than they do. And even at Shinnecock, they'll get a lot of daylight here. I mean, they're able to play pretty late into the day as we're close to the solstice. So it will be, I think that they'll finish both days unless there's a lot of rain. But yeah, it's foggy. What are you going to do?
I think the last groups are like 2:19 in the afternoon. So that's 6. That's basically saying, hey, can that threesome, can you guys get it done in 6?
Right. And we're going to be late. The tee times, if they're delaying, and who knows how long they'll have to wait for the fog to clear. So that 217, David, could very easily be 237. I can't imagine that if they're going to delay it for fog, that it's not going to be for at least 20 minutes. So that already going on at Shinnecock, early going round 1. For the record, I picked Matt Fitzpatrick. David picked Xander Schauffele. In between the two big boys, and I guess we probably could have said 3 and added Rahm, but I would never take him. David said Scheffler. I went Rory. And we both there could pick the same one. That just happened to be how we did it.
Yeah, and I like Rahm, but you can't put him in the same category with Scheffler and Rory right now. No way.
And that's where the odds of this, David, his odds are reasonably close to Rory's. It's like, wow, I look, if you picked him and he wins, it's a good bet. For the value on Thursday, to me, it wasn't worth it. That's all.
But this seems to me the toughest major to bet. I don't know if it is or not, but it just seems to me to be the toughest major to bet. I mean, it happens at the Masters. It does, where you get a guy who comes out of relatively nowhere and wins and then doesn't win a major again. But it seems to happen at the US Open more than a lot of other majors. And so that's why I think it's the toughest one to bet.
But a delay early in the round due to poor conditions.
I'll tell you what, I've said it to Mark off air. I don't know if I've ever talked about it much on air, but I obviously have been lucky to do some things in network television behind the scenes. Golf's the hardest thing I ever did. And it ain't close.
Because of the amount of time?
2 things. First off, do stats before Monday. Seriously. How many stats are you going to do? Prize money? World golf ranking? Do you know how many stats change, whether the golfer's playing
Right.
the week before the tournament or not? Okay. So you're doing 154, 156 man field, and you're basically starting from scratch Monday morning. They're teeing off in less than 72 hours. Okay. I'm serious. Just add up. I prepared a card, both sides of the card per golfer. It would take me 7 to 10 minutes to do each card. Well, times it by 156. Let's just say it's 9 minutes. So what are you doing? About 7 golfers an hour? Well, that's 24 hours of work. That's just on the cards. I haven't researched anything else for Joe Buck or Azinger or anybody else. I just did the cards. That took me 24 hours straight to do. Okay. I mean, literally, I would get the book of information Monday afternoon and I would attend a meeting on Wednesday. And I would say to Joe, do not come looking for me before the lunch meeting on Wednesday. I go, call me. I said, or text, but I may not answer. I mean, it was like studying for exams in college. I mean, I'd pull an all-nighter. And then, yes, Mark, I mean, I'd have to get to the tent 2 hours before we went on the air. Had to get pin placements. Okay. And I got to get pin placements for the whole tent. And so, yeah, it would surprise you how much mundane work goes into doing a golf tournament. It's a staggering amount of work behind the scenes that goes into getting all that information. I mean, think about on USA Network today. They're on the air 10 and a half hours before they switch networks.
And, when Roy McIlroy's in the hunt at the U.S. Open, you better have a card for him.
Well, not
That's
only that.
That's the thing, because they're showing, and here they are, they're showing everybody. These early tee times, they've only got a few guys on the course. So when this qualifier's teeing off on 10 at 6:30 in the morning, you've got to at least know where he's from, maybe where he qualified from, and something, because you don't just want to say his name.
So I won a bet with Joe one time in which I'm working on my last few cards, and they're the last two groups that are teeing off on Thursday. And Joe goes, what are you working on them for? And I go, Joe, there'll be no one else on the course. We're going to show these guys for a half an hour, and you don't know a damn thing about any of them. Sure enough, we had a half-hour airtime left, and we had a bunch of golfers that none of us knew anything about. We had cards.
Well, I don't do research, but I can find things. And when we come back, I'm going to give David some baseball info.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. B-Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I don't know if you saw it while you were gone, and he's not on the bag today. But Charlie Woods caddied for that Miles Russell in the qualifier.
I saw that.
But I looked it up right now to see if he was on it. But apparently his swing coach is on the bag today. I don't know if I'm making that change. I might be asking Charlie, you want to come to Shinnecock with me for a couple of days?
If I'm Charlie, I do, because I'm thinking I'm going to have a pro career, and every 8 to 10 years they play a U.S. Open there. If I'm Charlie, I want to get an up close and personal look at the course, because I'm thinking I'm going to play here twice.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If it were Charlie Smith, I'm with you. Given the fact that it's Charlie, I want you to wait for it. Woods.
Right.
I think he can play Shinnecock with his dad whenever the hell he wants to.
Well, he could, but, we'll see going forward. But I'll tell you what, man, the state of Florida ain't messing around. Do you think somebody in that office is a Phil fan? I mean, geez, man, they're going after him as if his last name is Smith.
I could say something now, but I'm not going to. Go Raiders. Torts said all along that it wasn't a long-term, and I don't know if Torts works for a whole year with that group. They're an older team. I don't know if they could put up with him for 6 months. Like, I'm being serious. I don't know if Torts' style can do a whole season anymore. Now, the fact that Babcock might get hired is laughable. Are you telling Connor McDavid you want him to leave? I mean, what are you saying here? I saw Commodore ripping Babcock was something else. Apparently, before a game, he told or during a game or before a game, told Commodore to take his crap off and get dressed, and then decided to bash Commodore as he's walking on the bus with the GM sitting there. And Mike just stopped and looked at Babcock and said, "Don't you dare lie. You told me to take off my blank and do this. Don't say anything different right now." And then just walk to the back of the bus. He was about 3 players high-fived me on the way back. They hated him. And this was in Detroit. They were kind of good there.
Yes, they were.
I mean, I know most of you don't remember because it was a generation ago.
I covered Mike Commodore in college at UND. That
look he had when he did the siren was out. The robe and the hair, awesome.
He was quotable in college and never lost it.
So my son's got a friend. He's been friends with her since college, and I give her all the credit in the world. She's dropped a ton of weight, and she's pretty cute now, and she was heavy. And she's a big Hurricanes fan. So apparently she's young, mid-20s. They go out a lot. And she decided to stay home instead of going to her favorite place on Monday to watch Love Island. That's the show the kids are watching these days, David. And the bar that she goes to, they all showed up at. And she was at home watching Love Island.
Oh, no.
I go, so she's a girl. She's kind of cute. Probably could have drank out of the cup. and stayed home and watched Love Island. Good move. Of course, my kid responds with, I've climbed that. Not the girl, the cup.
Oh, I thought Love Island. But
I think he'd like to. Right there, huh? There it is. There's young Jake with the Stanley Cup right there. Let's see if I can get the picture in frame. Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Christopher Powers to join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. We'll talk a little U.S. Open. Pat Kirwan at the top of the hour. We'll do our weekly NFL talk. And Glenn Davis in a little more than an hour. We'll try to get a little in-depth with USA Australia, which is tomorrow afternoon. USA Australia Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern. But Glenn Davis, who's broadcasting the World Cup on the international feeds, he will join us coming up in a little more than an hour.
David, behind me, I'm in my office. I've got a lot of things to make the thing look like a little more of a studio. You only can see part of it, where I give you a little horses, a little hockey, and some Sparty in there. But up over my right shoulder is a book that we got sent to us because we were doing an interview. And it's Tim Kirchen's book, Why I Love the Sack Fly, something along those lines. And it's a terrific book. He gets into all these quirky stats. And I bring that up because I saw this post on X this morning, and I was waiting to spring it on you. And we're not going to spend the whole segment on it, but we can do a little baseball here. But David, because we're seeing a lot of young guys in the game right now, and the game, is very much home run driven. But this may be the year of the bunt, David. Do you know that this is the highest success rate for the bunt in the DH era? The bunt has been successful so far this year over 74% of the time. And that either means a hit, an error, or a sacrifice. The successful bunt. The bunt is back. Small ball in some places is working. And I bring that up because, both the Rays and Marlins have to rely on a little bit of small ball. You got the kid playing shortstop for the Marlins there, who not only gets on base at the highest rate of anybody in the league, he's stealing bags. Teams like the Miami Marlins and the Tampa Rays have to move runners around. They can't rely on a 3-run home run.
Well, I got a theory. It's because we've had a couple, 2-3 years of runners on second, nobody out in extra innings, and a lot of teams watching their team unable to get the runner in. And in the modern day, where everybody's trying to put the ball in the air, if they don't make enough contact, the runner stays stranded at second with nobody out. And the percentage of runners on second, nobody out scoring is not high enough. And I don't just mean in extra innings, Mark. Runners on third, 1 out. Runners on second, nobody out. The percentage is too low. And I think teams have decided, screw it. I'm getting the run in, especially in the first half of the games. If I can get that run in, if I can execute that twice and score 2 runs in the first 6 innings of the game because of it, instead of trailing by a run going to the 7th, maybe I'm up a run and I put my bullpen to work.
And it used to be, the pitch you used to throw against the bunt was high cheese, man. You threw that high fastball because you had a better chance of popping the bunter up. Apparently, that's not the case anymore. Players are hitting more fastballs. That's in their vision tunnel, if you will. So the breaking ball's the hardest pitch to bunt because they don't practice it. But I just thought I would throw a little quirky baseball stat at you that the bunt is back. Now, I like the fact that guys are moving, and their strikeout rate is so high in the game right now. Anything to put the ball in play, I am all for. And, you know, when you made the comment about the College World Series, and I said it before it started, North Carolina has the best pitching staff in the country. Don't know how they'll end up doing against Oklahoma, but they have starting pitching and a lot of it. And now it's down to 3 games. I mean, and they have a slew of guys. And for the most part, they've pitched pretty well throughout this College World Series. You know, you mentioned the 2 games against USC in the Super Region that they were down, but they were 3-1 and 3-2 in that game. I mean, it wasn't like they had to come way back. Their pitching did the job, gave up some runs early. But I mean, even, you know, I happened to watch them in their region when they played East Carolina. You know, East Carolina had their chances, couldn't get runs in, had a chance in that winner's bracket game. But they got their starter out early. They went to the bullpen, and I'll be damned, North Carolina got guys out. But the one fun thing about the College World Series is you see everything. You see home runs, you see bunts, you see the ball being put in play as much at that level as you do anywhere else. It's part of the reason the games take so damn long. Part of the reason, not the whole reason. But there's typically a lot of balls in play, and North Carolina does a pretty good job of eliminating that because they've got very good pitching. Oklahoma's been mowing everybody down. This could be a low-scoring World Series finale, if you will.
Well, if you like pitching and defense, you'd like North Carolina baseball. And they've had a coach. I love the fact they call them coaches. They have a head coach there who, I mean, they're a top 5 seed every year, and they almost never make it to Omaha. Oftentimes, they don't even make it out of their regional.
It's the
they
best,
just struggle.
the best state for college baseball in the country.
What?
That state is phenomenal for college baseball. You know, people think Florida, and Florida's good, but you've got Campbell, who every year is really good. It doesn't even get you into the Wake Forest and Duke and NC State. East Carolina's got a really good program. So what happens is, and I know Coastal, I think they're in South Carolina, but you've got Coastal. What happens, because those regions, David, they try to make it 1 through 4. They also try to do what? Make them close in proximity. So that Chapel Hill region is typically loaded.
And I was lucky enough to go there 9 years ago, and the region was North Carolina, FGCU, Michigan, and Davidson. And Davidson, the 4 seed, won it.
So North Carolina, Oklahoma, and bunting. A little baseball for you outside of the baseball hour. The White Sox are still in first place.
Unreal.
Either the White Sox or Guardians can win right now.
If the playoffs started today, the White Sox and Nationals would be in the playoffs. We're like 40% of the way through the season. We're like 72 out of 162.
Well, and David, you mentioned, I don't know, before you left for 2 weeks, before you were in the hospital, you were like, you kept saying how many games in the American, and I'm like, a couple of teams are going to get it going. Do you know what's not happened? None of the teams in the American League that are bad have got it going. Not even close. You mentioned the Twins the other day there, and it's like, hey, come on, they're 5 games under 500. But when you look at the wild card in the American League, you've got 5 teams that are not in the playoffs right now that are within 2 games of the wild card. The Astros are 6 games below 500. They're 2 back.
Right. Somebody asked me in the chat room the other day, do you trade Jordan Alvarez? And I said, yes. And somebody else said, how can you do that? You're 2 back in the loss column for the playoffs. And maybe you'll start to get some guys back healthy.
So, the Mariners can't, they got it to like 4 games above 500. They're just a game above right now.
Hell, Mark, they may run away with that division winning like 85 games.
It's absolutely amazing. And on the other side of it, here we've got, the Marlins that are right there a game below 5. But I will say in the National League too, David, you don't have, what's it going to take in the NL to get that 6th spot? 84?
No, the bottom of you still have all those teams that are 500 or a couple of games above, but they're all jumbled together. Miller and Moulton. Christopher Powers talking golf next.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, Texas was out. And Georgia lost to Oklahoma yesterday. Those were the sorry, Jesus, little frog in my throat there. The yesterday was the each side of the brackets final, but the winner's bracket team had to lose twice, and both North Carolina and Oklahoma won their games, so they've moved on. Texas got bounced the day before, I believe. So now they have today off and play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if necessary. That is correct. Go Raiders. And this really stinks because I don't like North Carolina, but the SEC can't win at everything. And I don't like, I think I like North Carolina more than I like Oklahoma. There's just one annoying Oklahoma fan in my life, and I don't want them to win for that guy, and I haven't seen him in 10 years. He was annoying. And that whole boomer thing's annoying, let's be honest. I mean, unless you're an Oklahoma fan, isn't it annoying that someone yells boomer? Really? Would be fun if they yelled that and everybody yelled Esiason back at him.
He retweeted us an hour ago, so
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us then for our weekly NFL chat during the off season anyway. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Glenn Davis, who's calling part of the World Cup on the international feeds. And he's been good to us for about 10 years talking soccer. We'll break down USA Australia, which isn't until tomorrow afternoon. But we'll break it down and talk about the rest of the World Cup with Glenn Davis coming up in 1 hour from now. Christopher Powers is kind enough to join us once again. He of Golf Digest fame. Also, well, he's got a podcast. You have to have a podcast or else you're not allowed to be in the media. Period. End of sentence. The rule was passed at the beginning of 2026. The Loop podcast is the one that Christopher Powers and crew are part of. Follow Christopher on X at the letter C, Powers 14. C Powers 14. Christopher, David, and Mark, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, boys. How are you?
Well, we're doing fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, this tournament for me is about a 5.5. For my co-host, he likes the yearly carnage.
Love it.
Okay. I mean, the Masters still is number one, but this is a really solid number two. Just curious, where are you with the yearly carnage?
I'm a huge fan. I'm just a huge fan of the U.S. Open in general. The full field, anybody can get in. The venues, I know they've they're starting to go to more to a rotation of golf courses, which I like. So to be back at Shinnecock, I was there in 2018. I'm unfortunately not there this week, but it's a special place, kind of made for the U.S. Open. So I think it's a 10 out of 10 for me right now.
I'm right there with you. All right. One, you're probably not going to get asked by anybody else because no one cares who finishes in last. 86.5. If I were to give you that number today for the highest score, will it be over 86.5 or under 86.5?
Oh, over by far.
Really? Okay.
I want to say I remember some 89s in 2018. Yeah, there's just, there's so many guys who absolutely belong here because they got in and they qualified and they went through that, but they also kind of don't belong here. So I think over 86 is a lock for sure.
Over par winning?
I don't know. I mean, with this fog now that's stopping play, I think that's going to soften it up a little bit. I know they're expecting a ton of wind this afternoon. I hope that proves to be the case. Man, it's only one guy finished under par here ever.
3, I think.
Or 3.
Goose
I don't know. These guys,
Floyd.
yeah, these guys are so good. I think they're being with how cautious they're being with the greens because they don't want a repeat of 18 and 2004, and they want them rolling at like 10.5. I know John Bodenhammer said yesterday. These guys are too good. I know how severe the greens are here. Scotty Scheffler has talked about that. They've all talked about that, and that's the big defense here. And hopefully the wind blows, but. If they're going to be on the softer side, I think we'll see low single digits under par.
All right. If I were to give you 2 reasons why Scotty Scheffler doesn't win, one of them is the 3 to 5 foot putt that sometimes he struggles with. And 2 is how poorly he's played on Thursday in majors recently. Which one's going to be a bigger detriment, do you think, if Scheffler doesn't win? Because hell, he could end up, he could win this by 4. He's obviously got that type of skill.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I would go off your board there and say just the approach play has not been there this year. That's been the strength of his game over these last few years, that he's kind of taken over the sport. He's been number 1 in strokes gained approach. He's nowhere near number 1 right now. You're going to need that to be dialed this week. But I do agree with you. Slow starts. Obviously, you can't get off to a slow start this week. And then just the elements. I mean, Scotty does really well when he knows where the golf ball is going to go, where he can predict, and the wind's not a huge factor. We saw what happened at Memorial a couple of weeks ago when he got the wind wrong, and next thing you know, he's going viral for having a perceived fight with his caddy, Ted Scott. So I know some people kind of joke that he's a dome golfer. I wouldn't go that far, but he likes when the conditions are kind of predictable, and that does not sound like it's going to be the case this week. So that's another reason I think he probably won't win.
Shouldn't we like the Euros this week? I mean,
yeah,
it's a links course basically, and I mean, Fleetwood nearly won it. When they played here in 2018. I know he struggled late on a couple Sundays, but don't you have to like Shane Lowry's game on this course? I mean, picking a Euro this week might be a nice play.
Absolutely. My pick is Matt Fitzpatrick. I know he's talked about how much he wants it to blow the wind. He wants it to be crispy. He wants it to be hard. He thinks that'll kind of eliminate a bunch of guys. So I love a lot of the Euros, Fitzpatrick being one of them. I love the Lowry play. I think if you're a gambling person, he's drifted to like 85-1 before the tournament. I think that's kind of nice and under the radar, and probably everyone's written him off. And then Tyrrell Hatton, I mean, that guy just kind of shows up at every single major. So yeah, I like a ton of the Euros, but Matt Fitzpatrick is at the top of my list.
You've been posting about hot mics when Fox had it. I mean, you just need that mic around Hatton all the time. I would be following him with a boom. It would be mandatory that I don't care. I've just got to have a mic near him at all times in case he does something that we need to hear a second chance of. So I would love to see the Hatton play work. One of the things that to me's changed about golf, they all hit it so damn far that missing short's never an option now. And I've been listening to a lot of stuff and reading a few things, and this course. This is a U.S. Open's not about, no one's going to hit 16 greens. It just doesn't work that way in this tournament. So because they're longer and because they can get to every green, guys don't miss short. That seems to be the proper place to miss these greens. when you look at someone who gets up and down because they're going to miss, one, do they change a little bit of the way they play because missing short's better here? Or is it just missing in the right spots? And then when you look at that, who are the guys you like because of their ability to get up and down?
Yeah, I was going to say missing. You don't want to miss at all at this place, but I think right spot is very key. But short is probably always preferable. I saw them; they replayed from 2018. Tiger ripped a drive right down the middle. Everyone was super excited on Thursday. He sailed the first green and he made a triple. So you don't want to be long here. But in terms of getting up and down, I'm really high on Chris Goddard up this week. I saw a stat about how he's one of the top players where there's no like rough around the greens where they're, like kind of like Shinnecock where it's all really super burnt out and crispy and really tight lies around the greens. Chris Goddard is really good at getting up and down in those situations. So I'm high on Goddard. And then I know I just said this, but Matt Fitzpatrick with his cross-handed grip, he's one of the best chippers in the world. And then another guy you guys mentioned, Tommy Fleetwood, he's I think 5th or 6th on tour in strokes gained around the green, so one of his better areas this year on the PGA Tour, and he's hitting all his other clubs well too. So on the rare occasions where he does miss this week, I think he'll get up and down. So Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Goddard up. Those are 3 guys I'm eyeing this week.
If you like a guy's short game at Augusta, shouldn't you like them a little bit this week? Like, I have to admit, Scheffler. I'm sorry, what?
That's that Goddard stat I just mentioned. It was at Augusta. Right. There's a couple other courses where everything's kind of shaved off around the greens. Guys that do really well in those situations, Goddard's one of them.
I mean, I'm thinking Justin Rose again.
Yeah.
I mean, where you look up and early on Sunday and it's like, son of a gun, he's 3 off the lead.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that. He's another one like Lowry who, coming into the Masters, they were both super highly touted, lower odds. They both kind of, drifted a little bit here. Justin Rose is just a guy who shows up, like you said, every single weekend on a major. So Rose and Lowry, I don't think I would be surprised to see them in contention heading into Saturday and Sunday.
When you started seeing Fitzpatrick with the cross-handed grip, have you tried it yourself?
Maybe once, just practicing, but no, never on the golf course. No,
because to grab a club that way is just everything about it's wrong. You've been playing one way your whole life. That just baffles me to see someone that could perfect something that just, it's almost like hitting left-handed if you're a right-handed player. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy, and I remember it. I remember having a bet on Will Zalatoris at Brookline and watching him chip in cross-handed and ripping my heart out. So I'm very familiar with it, and I'm hoping to get some revenge this week.
I'm really not picking on him, although I've admitted he's not my favorite. But is Scotty Scheffler lying or just a little weird? Because who says they're not motivated by winning the career Grand Slam when 6 men in the history of the sport have done it, and it would mean you winning a tournament you've never won before? I mean, how could he not be motivated hard to win a U.S. Open? I mean, I'm trying to just go, did he just lie to our face and he can get away with it because he's such a nice guy? Or has this guy been hitting the head with a golf club lately?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's this modern athlete with all the sports psychology and the therapists and the mental stuff that, it's kind of what they're being, I guess, coached or taught to just play it down and take it one day at a time, all that kind of, I don't want to say crap, but it's kind of, it works for a guy like Scotty Scheffler. But I think to your point, deep down, not in a press conference, not in a media center, not on a microphone, if you asked him over a beer, do you want to win the career Grand Slam? I think he would say, yes, absolutely. I've been dreaming of that my whole life. So, I think he's probably lying a little bit.
We've mentioned a lot of guys. Is there, one, does Bryson make the cut? Because he's not played well this year. And 2, is there a guy that's off the beaten path that maybe not to win it, but you wouldn't be surprised to see hanging around on Sunday because they've played well recently?
I think that the Bryson conversation is just giving me a vibe like last year at the British Open where everyone's like, he can't play in the weather. everyone's kind of written him off. I think he had maybe a bad U.S. Open at Oakmont. He did. He missed the cut at Oakmont, and everyone was off Bryson. And then he didn't almost win. He just had a crazy Sunday at Royal Portrush and had one of his best British Open finishes. So I think everyone kind of off of him. I think he might actually surprise this week. And I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think he might make the cut. And then a guy off the beaten path. I love Maverick McNeely this week. I think he's just been, kind of a statistical darling this year. I think Data Golf has him ranked 14th in the world, where his actual world ranking is 37th. So that tells me that they see his stats and they kind of rank him much higher than his world ranking is. So he hits the low ball. He should be able to keep it under the wind. We know he can putt. He can chip. T18 in his last 2 majors, Maverick McNeely, he's starting to play better in the majors. So I really like him as a top 10, sneaky top 10 bet this week.
Well, I hope Patrick Reed can have a top 15 finish because I mean, listen, I want him on the President's Cup team because otherwise there's no reason to even talk about the President's Cup. I mean, honestly, we could do away with it. So to me, I think the U.S. has to start using the President's Cup to throw some guys in the mix who you might seriously consider a year down the road for the Ryder Cup, because let's face it, we got to start doing some things differently.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I don't, look, Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas might have a great rest of the year and end up making the team on merit, but if not, I don't need to see them for the millionth time. Because they're, whatever you want to call it, veterans. I'd like to see, I know some people have pointed out, like a Jackson Coyven, get him in the mix now. We're going to need him in the future. Get some of these younger guys in the mix. I don't hate your Reed call either. That was a guy who obviously thrived in this event, and now he just doesn't play in it anymore because, a couple of those veterans maybe I mentioned don't care for him. I think that's a little bit insane. So I agree. I think the President's Cup should be kind of experimental with the future Ryder Cups in mind.
After Wyndham Clark wore that Jack Hughes jersey, he goes right to the top of my list. Christopher Powers, Golf Digest, The Loop Podcast, talking a little U.S. Open with us. Christopher, enjoy the tournament. Thanks so much for spending a little time with us this morning.
Thank you guys for having me. Enjoy.
Christopher Powers, follow him on X, the letter C, Powers 14. The letter C, Powers, and the number 14.
Well, they're still, I believe, delayed.
Wow.
Because of fog. So that's been about a 30 plus 35-minute delay as of now. So that is going to make a long, long day. Not just for the players, David, but as you mentioned, for the broadcast crew. This day became longer and longer because they try to show every damn shot of this sucker.
Well, I thought they went to delay at 7:08. That's 45 minutes. Damn, that's a long delay.
It's a very long delay. It's also been a long delay because he's usually twice a week, but this time of year, he's only once a week. But he's back. Pat Kirwan's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hello, Mark.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
Good to hear your voice. Good to see David back there, too.
Yep, sure is.
Yes. Hello, David.
He doesn't have headsets on yet.
I don't know. The USA soccer team, the Knicks, the Everblades. It's been a fine month.
Yeah, it has.
It's
It's funny because I know you're all into the Blades. I don't care, but I'm paying attention to the score in Game 6. It's 4-1. I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, there's going to be a Game 7 because it wasn't on Amazon Prime. So I'm like, well, I can't watch it, so whatever. And it's 4-1. I go to bed and I wake up in the morning, and Cassio, he's become as big of an Everblade fan as you, which is the most annoying thing in the world, because all he did for years was bash us about even talking about them. I mean, he couldn't have hated hockey more, and now he acts like he knows the sport, and there's nothing more annoying than that.
Well, he doesn't, but he does have two sons that forced the addiction. Yeah.
But so.
Hey, you got to hand it to him.
Oh, hey, no. I mean, first
4 out of 5.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and he is the best goalie in the history of that league.
Yeah.
It was a guy by the name of Nick Fitucci for years, and Nick was great. But this is the first true, because I think there's another goalie that the Everblades had that's in the ECHL Hall of Fame, but he's in it as a member of many teams. This is the first true Everblades ECHL Hall of Famer. The league kind of came to Craig. Like, I'm one, people are going to get mad at me for saying this. To me, the hockey's not as good as it once. Compared to the other leagues, the great players that were in the ECHL, not just the Everblades, are now playing in the NHL or the AHL because of the rule changes. Yeah. So I don't think the hockey per se, comparatively to the A and the N, is as good as it once was.
Yeah,
hockey players on the whole are better. But I think there's a bigger distinction between the leagues now than there once was. But no, 4 out of 5. Come on, that's a dynasty. That's amazing.
It is, and the fan base responded to it. They are mobbed. Nope, it's fun, quite exciting. Today's crazy day. I had to drive down this morning from upstate, and I said I better get going early because that parade is going to affect trying to get around New York and down to the South Jersey Shore there. So it was, they have 10,000 cops for the parade today. 10,000. David, good to see you, man.
Good to be seen.
Yeah. It's a fun time of year in football. You can catch up on stuff, look at trends, things like that. Have funny little quizzes, and fans keep going, so still rolling along pretty good. I can't. You guys knew better than me what 3 hours was going to be like.
Oh, you are the luckiest man in the world.
I 24 years of 4 hours. I didn't know any better.
No, Pat, there are so many times I've gotten in my car now at like 10 after 6 to do something.
Sorry.
Well, no, because it was on. It's already on because it was on between 3 and 6, and you're not on. And you don't know how many times I've almost texted you going, "You lazy SOB."
Hey. Because that'll make it even feel better. Never did I think 1 hour a day was going to make a big difference.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Well, it's that day and time where we have our weekly chat during the off season with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 6. And in a couple of months, he's going to have to head to New York to do some work for CBS and the NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, and over a dozen points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Top of the morning to you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear your voice. Good to see you two guys. You're both looking good to me, and so happy to be back with you. And there really is no off season. There's plenty of stuff to always do. I spent a lot more time on trends in the game. I was looking at defensive backs blitzing and sacks yesterday. It was kind of amazing. In 2025, the defensive backs had 108 sacks. Okay, what's the big deal about that? The year before, they only had 60. Now, you start thinking about why. Is it because we're in nickel defenses? Is it because we're blitzing because the front four can't get there? It's just something that makes me start looking a little deeper. And really, it sets me up to ask coaches when I talk to them, what's going on here? Where did this rise in pressure come from? Why is it happening? It's easy to count them up. It's the question of why. So those little projects are fun for me right now.
Well, I want to get on something we talked about last week, Pat, and you had very strong opinions, and rightly so. And that was on the Texas Tech quarterback, Brendan Sorsby. He's no longer at Texas Tech. He's going to the NFL supplemental draft. The question then becomes, is there going to be an NFL supplemental draft? Because they have to make that decision first. They haven't had one in a few years. And will anybody spend a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick on a quarterback that made all these bets? I mean, I know you can hide him for a year if you've got players, but is someone going to take a shot at this kid?
Well, I've gone through this at length. I'll give you a lot of reasons why I wouldn't. Let's start with last August, and we started to look at the quarterbacks for the draft. I can get you to 15 guys before we ever mentioned him. So people call our show, and we have people that are on the radio that are claiming he might be a day 2 pick, meaning 2nd or 3rd round. I go, that's impossible. Now, if it happens, I'll have plenty to say about the team who does it. But the two of you guys, how much due diligence do clubs do before the draft on quarterbacks? Pro days,
more than another position, Pat.
Yeah, so they're not going to have the time to do that. That guy would be in my building if it was allowed. He'd be dealing with our doctors, our psychologists. He's going to take a few interviews on his habits and where he's at with all that stuff. If his agent says, he's 6'3", 235, one more time, I wish I got $1 for every time he says that. That's not a criteria for drafting a guy. So I think that you cannot cover all the things that you have to do to feel comfortable about taking them. So I think you guys have already eliminated day 1 and day 2. There are people out there that believe it's going to be one of those, which I think that's when there's nothing going on. I wouldn't do it because, and I think David will know this part the best, these coaches hate things that cause confusion and distraction. And if whoever takes that guy is going to have every media outlet in the world at camp to talk to a guy that's not going to play. So I think the coaches are going to let someone else coach him. Now, the real question you ask is why should they have a supplemental draft? He's the only player applied for it. Why have it? He can go sign a free agent deal after guys do it for the last 2 years. Guys have signed. So I personally, here's the political part. But either one of you, what would the ramifications be if the NFL decides not to have a supplemental draft for the third year in a row?
None.
Thank you. Let's not have one. And when I hear 26 teams called the agent, 26, you know what? He didn't mention were they GMs, coaches? Was it the third assistant of the pro department? Was it the media guys looking to get his phone numbers? I mean, so I would pass on him. Would you two pass on him?
Oh, and you know me, Pat. I'm willing to give most everyone a second chance. I would never have anything to do with them.
Thank you.
And I'm pro gambling, and I love divas, and I have no problem with problem children. My thing is he bet on his own team. I also think he's full of crap, and that he is not willing to admit he had a problem, that they came up with this to try to get him one final year at Texas Tech. I don't think there's anything genuine about the kid. And no, I said to Mark, we went through it for a long time yesterday. Mark questioned me pretty hard yesterday. I said, Mark, I really don't think there's a scenario where he'd be in my locker room.
I'm telling you. And Mark, what happens if he was on your team and he throws an interception to lose a game?
Oh, Pat, I could see where a team, if they somehow put him in the supplemental draft, would take their seventh round pick and say, all right, whatever, we'll take a flyer. Like I guess I could get that. I understand where you're coming from, and you're right. I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't want to deal with the crap that you're going to have to deal with by having this kid at camp. The other players would hate him quickly if that attention was given to him. So I think the bad outweighs the good. I guess I'm just saying with the quarterback position, I could see a team taking a 6th or a 7th rounder at a supplemental draft to take this kid. That's all I
agree with that. Now, the question I'll ask you guys, I have an opinion. I'll give mine after I hear yours. Which owner would be attracted to taking him?
Jerry Jones.
Thank you. In Dallas, where he's going to have his pro day. Jerry, he's taken problem children before. And if you look at them, you got Joe Moulton not doing very much. You got Sam Howell. Where's the roster spot for him? Are you going to cut Moulton or cut Sam Howell just to have – no one likes 4 quarterbacks at camp because you can't get them reps. But someone said to me, Arizona. I said, what are you thinking there? I just couldn't see it. There are teams that they have an open third spot, which is a developmental quarterback. I get it. Buffalo wouldn't do that. Baltimore, I don't think, would do it. Cincinnati wouldn't do it. I'd just as soon have Nussmeier in Kansas City than that guy.
Let me ask you this. If you're suspended by the league, you can't practice, can you?
No.
Because, in a way, an ideal situation could be he ends up signing with a team, but the league says, you can't see the field in 2026, which, let's face it, he's not going to see it anyway. But if a team could then get to know him, see if he's full of blank, see if whether or not he's redeemable, while he's making the absolute bare minimum possible. But if the league suspends him, he can't be in the building, can he?
No. And So what you do is you look at that guy as he'll be here next winter in the off-season program, and that's when we'll start to program him in. And that gives you basically 8 months to find out if he slips up again. And then you could just cut him. We got 91 guys right now from this spring's transactions, free agency drafted. 91 guys did not get a signing bonus. That would be 92. So the last thing I want to give you is more money to use.
Right.
No way.
Right. Now, and I had to bring it up because you had very strong opinions before he left Texas Tech. I knew you would now that he thinks he's going in the supplemental draft. And that's just that wanted to talk about it. The other question I was been dying to ask you, and this is a little obscure, Pat, but I get, the head coach and his job. I get the offensive and defensive coordinator. And I just want you in a couple of minutes here, if you could, to explain what the difference is between a great positional coach and a bad positional coach. Because I was listening, I don't know if it was your show or another show, and I don't remember the team talking about so-and-so's the linebacker coach and what he brings to the table. And I'm like, how much difference is there in a defense between, the Chiefs linebackers coach and the Broncos linebackers coach, if you know what I mean? I would think they're all pretty damn good at this level. So help me with the difference, and I can get the quarterback coach, but help me with the difference between a lot of other positional coaches.
Well, we'll start with the highest paid positional coach is the offensive line coach. They were making millions of dollars 20 years ago. Not all of them, but I had a friend who was making $900,000 and he quit the team he was with because he didn't get to $1 million, and about 10 of his buddies were. So that's the guy that gets paid. I think the input you have in the game planning meetings is real for certain positional coaches. The running back coach does what he's told. He reads, all right, we're going to run these 9 plays. I'll make sure they're ready. The tight end coach is an interesting guy. He surrenders half of his coaching to the line coach. When they go down to do run blocking, the line coach takes over the tight end, but it's the secondary coach. You can talk about we can't, we got to play this coverage. No, we don't have the guys to do that. I think the secondary coach, now that we play 5 defensive backs, that's really in line with the offensive line coach who plays 5 people. That guy better know what those players can do and what he's up against with opponents. Rushing the passers, rushing the passer, we get it all. You need talent, but back in the back end, how often are we playing quarters? When are we playing weak cloud zone? All that stuff. How much man can we play? How about this guy we're going to have to cover? The secondary coach can help make a lot of things good, and he can make a lot of things bad. So that'd be the guy that I'd be paying.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is weekdays 3 to 6. Pretty soon he'll be in New York on Saturday nights and Sundays for the NFL Today show with Russell Wilson, a part of the crew. Now, as that cast has changed in the last couple of years, Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. And we come back, I will ask Pat, why in the world would anybody trade with these guys?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Pat, to your point on the parade, at 7:28, I don't know what point the parade this is, but the parade starts at 10. Front Office Sports has a post from wherever the parade route is, and I don't know what buildings they're in front of here, but there's no more room.
Yeah. So my son and son-in-laws and my daughter, they all work on Wall Street, and none of them went to work today. We'll be working from home. Yeah. Good for the fans. And all
Pat,
that.
I need to get in touch with them when they start getting ready to buy their place down here. That's what I need.
Yes, you do.
We need to start looking for places for them.
I will make sure.
The condo market's pretty good right now.
Well, first off, half of those knuckleheads own like a house on Cape Cod. Another one just bought a.
And they've got your place here, Pat. Why do they need?
Well, that's exactly right. They go, and they have no problem invading me.
Exactly. They just pick their spots. Everybody gets a week. Hey, we got someone in the chat room wants your thoughts on the Vikings GM hire.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, you want to talk? Oh, I got you. Yeah. The question really will be, how much power does he have? Because the head coach was in on the committee and they knew each other. So I think this thing might be migrating into one of those where the coach controls the GM. Not that he's going to be doing that, but that he might have final say. That we'll find out when it comes right down to it. And it won't be posted that way because they don't do that as much, but it will be easy to figure out what's going on there. But I think they love the coach. And a lot of people think he's on a hot seat. I do not. But when he got involved with the selection of the GM, that told me all I needed to know. But I think it'll be fine. Look, here's their biggest issue, and it's the quarterback, as we know. So who's going to make that call? What if Kyler Murray plays well? Now, I'm not a big fan of Kyler, but what if he plays well? Are they going to let this guy go like they let Sam Darnold go? Now you have a GM that didn't pick this quarterback, Mr. McCarthy. So it'll be interesting to watch how that dynamic starts to play out early in the year. And I do think that the receivers are doing their best to be team guys, but I think they like Kyler Murray's ball better than JJ's. So that whole storyline has to play out. And that'll be a major decision. And they'll probably try to put it on the GM to make it, but I don't think he can make it alone. In fact, I know he won't. So that's them. You know, the perception of that team is not very good. And I think people are off on that. I think they're better than people think. You know, when you're at the bottom, they're going to come in last. So I don't argue with the listeners on that stuff, but last in that division could be 9 wins.
Was last year.
Yeah. I'm not talking about a 3-win operation. They're not that team. We'll see what happens with them, but first off, we're up to how about the offensive line? Staying healthy, Darisaw. Finally, Kelly's gone, which that's okay by me. He was becoming a medical issue in Indianapolis. I think the Packer fans always think they're going to win it. Detroit fans think they're going to rebound. Chicago fans are very bold and brazen right now. Minnesota at least could be a spoiler, where if you have to play Minnesota late in the year to get to the playoffs, I could see Kyler Murray taking you down.
You're right, because to win that division, someone's got to try to figure out a way to win 4 division games.
Yep. It's a kind of a 3-3 world there.
Yep. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour, remaining moments with Pat Kirwan, Glenn Davis in a little more than 15 minutes time to talk World Cup soccer. Okay, this is not a trick question. 2 simple questions, one to set up the second one. What position has the Kansas City Chiefs gotten wrong the last 5 years more than any other, Pat?
Oh, well, I got 2 to pick from. The wide receiver room is definitely on the list.
Okay.
They got rewarded by letting Tyreek Hill go and then going and winning a Super Bowl without him. So that motivated them that, hey, we're on the right track.
Okay.
The other one's pass rushers.
Where?
Second one for me is pass rushers.
Oh, interesting, because I was thinking offensive tackle.
Well, that I should have said it, because Andy Reid's an O-line coach.
Yeah. Well,
and they lost 2 Super Bowls because of the O tackles.
Right. So the point that I was getting at, though, is that if I'm a Falcons fan and I saw that my team acquired a tackle from the Chiefs, first off, do they have any good ones to trade? And secondly, why am I even giving up something for a tackle on the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, I have to admit, that concerns me if I'm a Falcons fan. I don't want us anywhere near the Chiefs' offensive line room. Never mind, we're giving up stuff for them. So now I'm concerned about Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
Yeah. So Wanya Morris, that's the kid who they just moved. He wanted out. They didn't care if he was gone. I don't know. I don't think the compensation was anything to worry about.
No. It was here. I'll give you a 6th. You give me a 7th.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, Pat, when the Eagles call and we all joke, who would do a trade with the Eagles? Okay. To me, it's the Chiefs are offering us an offensive lineman. Why would we even take that call?
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, it's, if nothing else, they're gonna feel like they got a depth player who's played. And they might look at the guys and say, we need another depth. And that's an O-line coach going, oh, hey, we need another veteran back there because we just got too many young guys or too many guys that are old and broken. I wouldn't have done it. I'm on your side with that one. But you said the O-line room. I'll divide it in half. The tackles, don't like them. The center's a great player. That they let Joe Tooney go last year shocked me. Joe Tooney finished out the year as a tackle. And they couldn't afford to pay him and Smith, so I get why they thought they should do it. But when my quarterback's Pat Mahomes, we're not getting rid of any of the inside 3. And the 2 tackles lost 2 Super Bowls for them, and everybody knows it. But can they get back into the race? And that question comes up a lot on my show because of everyone's love affair with Denver and even the Chargers. And I keep saying, don't discount these guys. They may not be able to win a Super Bowl, but they can get to the playoffs. They got too many guys named Mahomes.
Well, speaking of a team that needs to get to the playoffs, I brought this up earlier because we spent some time yesterday, and we did it with you last week, Pat, talking about Baker and a new deal. And Todd Bowles said some things, and then Baker said some things. I'm not going to get into that right now because you're aware of all of it. But Joe Burrow said some things yesterday. We're as good. Yeah. This reminds me of my 2019 LSU team, one of the best college football teams to play, maybe the best offense that's ever played in college football. So that's a bold statement, one. And, hey, look, I hope he's right. But in a division with 3 brand new coaches, how much pressure is on Zach Taylor this year? I mean, I think Todd Bowles is on the hot seat when the year begins. If Zach Taylor doesn't make the playoffs, is he going to need a realtor, if you know what I mean?
I think so. I mean, it's not their style, but
right.
The other 3 dismissed their coaches with better credentials than the Bengal coach. So, yeah, I think he would be in some hot water. It's you brought up Joe Burrow's comment. That comment was fine by me. It was the comment he made the day before. That one I put right in front of people and said, what would you do if he said that about you? And he said, I'm ready to go. I'll wait and see. I'm paraphrasing here. I'll wait and see if the rest of my teammates are. Like he put it on them, like, play up to my standard. My answer would have been, hey, Joe, I got the locker next to you. I think the world of you, but try being available for more than 8 games before you start telling us about us. That one kind of said, what was he trying to do there? He's a great guy, and I thought it was way out of character if you read it the way I read it. I put it in front of Jake Hester. I said, hey, if you were on that team, how would you feel about what he said? He goes, I wouldn't be happy with that. So first thing is be available every week. And not I'm ready to go. I'll wait and see if my teammates are, something to that effect. You can look it up. It was 2 days ago. And I said, this is a different style of motivation that Joe's kind of dropping on his teammates. We'll see.
I'm okay with it. And I'm not okay with it because I'm a Joe Burrow homer, which I am. But I'm okay with it because I also think he's making himself accountable. You know, you run your mouth, Pat, you get held accountable. He 4 years. And they're, like you said, he's been hurt. He's been inconsistent. They haven't made the playoffs. That's inexcusable. He and they have to make the playoffs. He and they should look at themselves and think we can win this division this year. I want them holding themselves accountable.
I want them holding themselves accountable too, but it came from one guy. And I know, and I'll say Hester he said, look, the quarterback's the only guy who can say something like that. But he said it, and I just said, I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say, maybe he's taking control of the whole team. Maybe he's trying to talk like a head coach. Maybe he feels it's at this point, I got to be more than just the quarterback.
Well, I do think that's part of it. And I thought you saw that walking off the field a couple times late last year when he was doing the talking and the head coach was doing the listening and trying to do the explaining. It was not a good look for Zach Taylor late last year.
Yeah. Well, he's still there, and they're going to have to work their way through it again. But if you looked at it from the perspective, he's taken charge of this thing, and that's why he said it. To me, a head coach can say something like that. I mean, you hear Jim Harbaugh talk about his quarterback, Mark. He talks about Herbert like he's the greatest ever play. And I think the players on the team get a kick out of it. They kind of think it's funny how he does it.
But he takes the brunt of it. You know, Dan Campbell takes the brunt of it. It's not Jared Goff running his mouth. I mean, Jordan Love doesn't run his mouth.
Nope.
There's a lot of guys out there that aren't running their mouth about their team. And I love Joe Burrow. I think he's an unbelievably talented quarterback. But to your point, Pat, how about, at least when Bowles made the comment that Baker's got to not take so many hits, Baker's like, how many games have I started the last 3 years? That's a factual statement. I think Baker had every right to say that.
Yeah, I know. But Todd Bowles also said on my show about his quarterback, and I said, tell the listeners what you think of Baker Mayfield. And that's when he said, Baker would stick his face in a fan for you if you told him to. Yeah, There's different styles of guys. Eli Manning never said anything. He won a couple Super Bowls. He was very passive when it came to rah stuff. Now he was a clown in the locker room and everyone loved him, but he wasn't out ripping on guys. We used to see Brady tear up people on the sideline. So there's lots of ways to do it. You just have to win first. You have to be there every week. That was Baker's point. To your point, Mark, he wasn't 100% healthy, but he showed up every week.
Right.
Well, they better pay him. They better just end this charade. They better pay him. They're going to have to pay Vita Vea also, who's doing a sit-in. Okay, which is fine. He doesn't need to do anything before September. But they got two guys they got to pay, who are the two new leaders of each unit, by the way, so they better pay them both.
Yep.
He's Pat Kirwan. We don't pay him anything. NFL Radio moving the chains. CBS's NFL Today show.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Your home's
See you next
first line
week.
of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure.
How have the broadcasts been going so far?
They've gone great. The vantage point that I have with the gentleman I'm doing the games with, who's an Englishman, is incredible. We get there really, really early because of security and everything. So there is a little bit of idle waiting around, but absolutely been a joy. I'm very fortunate and privileged to get to do it. And we got Netherlands, Sweden on Saturday, so that's a good game.
That'll be a really good game. Yes.
Yeah, there's a ton of Dutch here. They're doing a massive march, and
the way that the fan base is, and we'll get into it, but the way that the fan base is, and I mean, from just individual things like this Freddie character on X and all of the posts that he's made, and the way Houston did so many good things for him, but just the way the Europeans, particularly the Europeans, because I've seen more posts from them, but whether it's the Scottish fans, the Dutch fans, we know the English fans are huge, but just the way they've taken a hold, particularly of the South. I mean, it's one thing to go to
we get a bad rap sometimes, and it's great to see the Europeans all saying, "Oh man, it's great over here. People are really friendly."
Yep.
It's some really good PR, because a lot of this stuff, in my humble opinion, the big ugly American isn't as ugly as everybody wants to make him to be. Of course, we have the ones that breach our system a little bit and act like idiots, but every country, the fans from around the world are great.
Here we go.
Sorry.
No.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Glenn Davis is kind enough to join us once again. And for the last 40 years, soccer has been a big part of his life. As a college standout, as a pro player, coaching, broadcasting. He's part of the World Cup International feed broadcast this year. You can follow Glenn on X at Glenn Davis Sock with 2 C's. Glenn Davis, SOCC. And don't forget about his podcast, Soccer Matters. Glenn, welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm doing fine, excited about the World Cup, and every day is a great day.
Well, no doubt. In this tournament, we'll talk about the U.S. and Australia match in a moment, but just this, I was someone, and I love the World Cup. I'm one of these fans. I get in every 4 years. I love big events. I'm not by any means a soccer aficionado. I know who's good. And I thought expanding this tournament was just not a great idea, that it would take away from group play. Oh my goodness, have I been wrong. Some of the ties have been historic. Yeah, Germany had a big win. England scored a couple of goals in the second half to make that game a 2-goal game. But by and large, we have seen some nations that we don't expect to do some remarkable things thus far, Glenn.
Yeah, I think we go right to some of the African countries. Cabo Verde, obviously getting the amazing draw against Spain. And then, of course, a game I called yesterday, Congo, in a 1-1 draw with Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal. So, look, I think what people have to remember here is the players on Cabo Verde and the players on Congo, many of them weren't even born in their own country. They're all born in Europe. They're all playing, many of them, on European clubs of stature, right? So it's not like, it may not be as big a David and Goliath as everybody thinks it is. I knew in my heart that Congo was going to give Portugal some problems. The Cabo Verde was a little bit more of a surprise to me, but no, it's remarkable. And these teams are coming maybe a little bit more rested. They're coming with ambition, just like everybody else. They're professionals. They know they're in the shop window. There's so many elements going on to this from a motivational standpoint if you're not, one of the top 10 teams in the world.
Well, and hopefully it can continue, because with all the draws, especially first games of group, we could have just a fascinating third and final game of about 8 different groups if the game 2 of all these groups plays out accordingly. I just want to talk specifically about the U.S., and then maybe we can drill down on U.S. Australia. But how well did they play last Friday? I mean, we've been known as a U.S. soccer nation to get a little ahead of ourselves about 34 times in the past. Were we that good Friday?
Oh yeah, we were. That's the most defining 45 minutes that first half I've ever seen a U.S. team play in a World Cup. I don't think there's any question. Nobody's going to dispute that. The attacking side of the game is the other thing. It's a different personality. We weren't there just to survive, right? We always survive. We always end up in a third game in the group to either advance or not advance. It's pressure filled. We in the last World Cup used the same core of players. So by the time we got the Netherlands in the knockout round, everybody was exhausted. This is part about navigation, but this is a lot about Mauricio Pochettino changing attitudes. The move to put Serginho Dest higher up the field to complement Pulisic on the other side gives us two dribblers, two penetrators, and two very dangerous players. You got a striker now in Fowler and Balogun who's got 2 goals. That's always been a big question mark. But I think it's the attitude, the desire to be more aggressive and believe that you can be an attacking team, which Pochettino has drilled into them. But we never saw a team in a World Cup produce a performance like that. Now, you got to have a short memory, right? Because Australia's next.
Well, obviously, you mentioned when we had you on before the tournament started that you kind of predicted some of this. Maybe not as good as they were going to play, but you did predict that moving Pulisic to the outside was a big move. It was important that he can now play his game. Well, he's not practiced with the team in a few days, and he's a little banged up. This Australia game is obviously a very big game if they want to win this group. How confident are you that Pulisic will be as close to 100% as possible tomorrow afternoon?
Can't really say. Look, I think the one knock on Christian Pulisic is he's been injury prone in his career, and that's always a real worry. Apparently, it's a calf thing. You know, everybody's giving reports that really don't have a whole lot of information, just that he's training on his own. My gut is he's going to be there, and that's a big piece to the game. But you know, it is a storyline because in the early stages of that win over Paraguay, who, by the way, is one of the top defensive teams in South America, and you shredded them in the first half. You know, he helped the U.S. get off to an incredibly good start, and you could see the look in his eyes how confident he was.
Well, there was no one on the pitch who could handle him. I mean, his speed, he went around guys when he wanted. He split double teams when he wanted. I mean, quite frankly, he lived up to 8-10 years worth of hype. I mean, could he really be that kind of difference maker where he's the best player on the pitch against just about everybody?
We have to believe that he is incredibly talented. Again, I think his biggest worry for me is durability, but incredibly gifted technical player. And like I said, to have Dest doing the same thing on the other side of the field and Pochettino moving him higher was a stroke of brilliance because then that counters Pulisic, right? If you have somebody equally as dangerous, and he was Dest in that game, on the opposite side of the field, it becomes problematic for opponents. But it's been a lot of pressure on this guy. He's taken a lot of criticism that I don't think he deserved. I think he could have had a little bit more support from some of the former national team players. But I think a lot of the buttons being pushed here are now being pushed by a coach who also was maligned a lot during this whole process, right? You know, what's he doing? You know, you got to have an American coach and all this. I was really excited Pochettino got the job because we needed somebody with a fresh look at these players. Not somebody from within the system, somebody from outside it. And he has really pushed the buttons of competitiveness as well. He's Argentine. It's in the blood. In Argentina, soccer is nothing but about competition. and winning. Okay. And we needed a heavy dose of that. There's too many other things going on, a little bit too much kumbaya, in my opinion, a little bit too friendly. He came in, clear mind. Everybody's got to reestablish themselves. And he timed it perfectly for that first game. But look, if that first game isn't balanced with a good second game, then it goes for naught.
Okay. Well, Australia, the one thing that I've read, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn, is that they're bigger. They're a little more physical. When you talked about Pulisic and, being able to we attacked, and it was a joy to watch, because I think as American fans, we want that style, and we'd kind of gone away from a team that was always going forward. And maybe we didn't have the talent to just go forward, but this team obviously has more talent than we're used to seeing, and they're playing a style that I think the American fan loves. But Australia, from what I understand, defensively, they're pretty big. They're pretty physical. Are we going to be able to handle that from them?
You have to be able to handle that. And look, that is one of the things that's going to happen with them. They're going to defend in a low and mid-block. They're going to play for the counterattack. They're going to try and break the U.S. rhythm by kicking some people. I mean, that's the obvious thing. Now, in the modern game, it's a little bit more dangerous these days, to target players. But Pulisic's going to be targeted with a bit of a physical game. They're dangerous on set pieces. Kunda up front is a very dangerous 20-year-old in the counterattack. So I expect the U.S. to have a lot of the ball, get the ball off your feet quickly against bigger, powerful players. And let's see if the U.S. can do this again against the team that has some similar defensive structures to what Paraguay had.
Surprisingly, not tested much on the back end. Your thoughts on the U.S. team, back end, goalkeeping, figuring to be challenged more as the tournament goes on?
Yeah, I think you're right. And that was our big question mark, and maybe the soft underbelly coming in. I think Chris Richards coming back in from injury, apart from the goal, had a wonderful game, showed a dominating presence. He's kind of like our Virgil van Dijk, the Netherlands center back. He's our guy. But in transition, that moment when, if you're attacking in possession, you lose the ball against Australia, the positioning of players, the starting points, where you are, if the U.S. can't get a repress and pressure on the ball to stop it from being played forward, is going to be really important. And I notice Anthony Robinson has, on the left side, stayed home a little bit more to protect Tim Ream, who is a very experienced, great player, is the captain, but is not as mobile anymore. And, you don't want him to be isolated one-on-one in an area where there's a lot of space. So that 2-3 seconds when the ball's lost in transition, the decisions are going to have to be perfect.
I want to go back to yesterday. Portugal has some of the best players in the world on their team. They play for their key guys on their club teams. And when put together, they are thought of as one of the better teams in this tournament. A 1-1 game against Congo. Ronaldo was not good. People are asking if he should be benched. The game was in Houston. I'm just curious your thoughts on Portugal, because they're a team everybody expects to do big things in this tournament. And the Netherlands, who you have Saturday, let one go. So a couple of teams that are thought of pretty highly did not have the starts that were expected of them.
Well, having called that game, it was fascinating, because the first observation I'll make is I think every single Portuguese fan had on a jersey number 7 that said Ronaldo. I never saw anything like it. I mean, if you took a picture of him, everyone. So I got into a mindset of thinking, are these people here for Portugal, or are they here simply for Ronaldo? And I think it's the former, to be honest with you, because if you look at the feedback today, you're hearing people making all kinds of alibis for his performance. Now, one of those alibis is true. The midfield did not live up to it. I think it's possibly the best midfield in the world. It was not progressive. They weren't breaking lines. They weren't beating people off the dribble. It was death by 1,000 passes. Unfortunately, the passes were all at the halfway line. Like, I saw a sequence, 10 passes, and they didn't move an inch. So at the end of the day, possession's great, but if you're not creating chances, it's a problem. Now, to be fair to everybody else, Ronaldo's not mobile anymore. He's a 41-year-old man. The difference between him and Messi, and by the way, one of the greatest players in the history of the game, 100%. But he can't move. And if you don't move and you're positioned in the box and you're not getting stuff happening out wide to pull people off you and then get delivery in, which is what he wants, you're in trouble. And so by standing in the box throughout this game, there's two big Congolese defenders on it. There's no space. There's nothing. And then your midfield's not providing the proper support. You're not getting a lot of width. You got a little bit from Pedro Neto. You got a little bit from Conceição off the bench. But this is a real storyline because Roberto Martinez, the head coach, he's not coming back. It's already known. So he might have the strength, if he feels, to bench him. And Ronaldo wants to play every game. He wants to score goals. He saw Messi score 3. He wants to be history every single time he plays. But I think at times even Portugal looked like it was over-reliant trying to set him up, and there was nothing there. The Congolese were great, and they deserve a lot of credit. Incredible response to giving up an early goal. Defensive structure, unbelievable. Big, strong, powerful. They had the guy Yohan Wissa and Bakambu on the counterattack that were dangerous. I loved what the Congo did.
Very quickly, 30 seconds tonight. South Korea, a problem for Mexico?
Yes, that will be a problem. Mexico's overrated, I think, in my opinion. Struggled with a very young, very young South African team. So I think tonight's going to be a great game. I think that's the game of the day.
We talked a little bit before the show. Sorry, David. We talked a little bit before, but the Southern United States, which doesn't get a lot of credit, this tournament so far, we've got about 30 seconds, Glenn. Your city, some others have been home runs. We all know New York and Boston are, great American cities, but the South's getting its due, and Houston's played out really well, Glenn. It has to be nice for you to see that.
Oh, I love it. And the 2 games that I've been here in Houston, the fans are having fun. Everybody's having a great time. There is a real sense of unity because it is a global sport. We're all having fun. Different fan bases are doing nice gestures back and forth. It's all good. I loved when I saw the U.S. for the anthem, very proud. And I also love the fact that they applauded the Paraguayan anthem and then went out and did the business.
Glenn Davis, Soccer Matters. Follow him on X, Glenn Davis Sock, SOCC. He's got the international feed and quite a few great games. Glenn, as always, we appreciate you, your time, and your insight. Good luck with the rest of the tournament. Glenn Davis joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Enzo, Texas doesn't even consider themselves part of the U.S. But
Well,
when you play your
Texas first and then Southern second, but you guys are all right. Just make sure. I tried to text you. I should have put the phone up. It's SOC. It's not SOCC if we have him on again. I know you typed that, but he retweeted it. I'm on X. It's SOC. Glenn Davis stock. For what it's worth, I tried to get it to you right away, but I should have put my phone up. That's on me. But just remember for future.
damn.
Because we'll probably have him on again. Because he did repost it.
But Enzo, I was going to say, when Texas and Texas A&M are part of the Southeastern Conference,
and it sure as F ain't the Northeast, Enzo. My point is that the European fans in the southern part of our country are having a very good time. That's what we talked about before we even had him on. It's not Boston and it's not New York. And most Europeans, and listen, the Europeans on social media are literally talking about how much they're enjoying our country. And it's not the ones that have bet, because where do they go? They go to New York and they go to LA and they go to Las Vegas. Those are not the typical American city. Houston's far more typical of a city in this country than New York is. New York's one of one. Yeah, he's excellent, Javier. And he's doing all the games in Houston. So, obviously did the Portugal game yesterday, did Germany game, which was a blowout, but he's obviously seen a decent amount of soccer. I laughed when I had him on before because he's like, no FIFA questions before. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not grinding on that. But apparently, he has someone broadcasting. He was very nervous about what we might ask.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final hour of Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and other places. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I don't want to make too much of this, but it could be awkward for a few key players now in the U.S. Open. Mark, this is going to end up being a 2-hour fog delay. They're resuming play in a few minutes. They stopped play 2 hours ago. Well, just do the simple, math, clock math, whatever you want to call it. First off, everybody ain't getting done today. Everybody ain't getting done tomorrow. But also, say you're Rory Scheffler, you had early tee times today. I know Scheffler did, like 8-ish. Does that mean you were going to have early late? So now, instead of playing at 1-ish tomorrow, are you going to be playing 3, 4-ish? Meaning you ain't going to finish your round. You're going to have to come back early Saturday. And then what if you're in contention? So that means you're at the course bright and early. You got to finish round 2. And then instead of back at the villa, chilling out, you're showered, dressed, ready to go, and you got 6 hours to kill before round 3. Now, I know they deal with this, other tournaments and what have you, but, I mean, this is going to be at least inconvenient. Is that a fair conclusion?
Oh, yeah. Sunset is 8:24 tonight. So they're not finishing. I mean, what David said, that's just a fact. These rounds take forever. They take longer at a place like this. So the 2 p.m. tee times are going to be in the 4 range now. So they're not playing in 4 hours. That doesn't happen.
Right. Like Bryson today was scheduled to go off the back at 125. That would give him almost 7 hours to complete his round. Okay. Well, now push it back 2 hours. These guys, they go to finish in 5 hours. And that's the worst. Having to come back, first thing Friday morning to play 2 holes.
Well, it may be more than that, Dave. I mean, I'm looking at the final tee times right now. They're 4:42 p.m. today. Okay.
Right.
Now, most of these guys you haven't heard of, but John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Justin Rose, 4:09 p.m. tee time.
Right.
Okay. That's, and as you said, David, they own now, hopefully, most of them will be through 10 holes. And why I say that is, as long as they're through 10, they can start playing. But remember, they're going to need a few minutes to get the course ready for round 2, if you will, if it's just simply to change all the hole locations.
Right. So think about that. And by the way, that's exactly 2 hours because Rose and Rahm and Spieth were scheduled to go off at 2:09. It's been pushed back to 4:09. But what Mark talked about, there's 3 groups after them. They can't change the pin locations for round 2 on, 4, 5, 6 holes. And remember, there's guys off each 9.
Right.
So it's not just 4 holes on the back 9. It'll be 4 or 5 holes on each 9.
And it's Thursday, Friday. They're in threesomes.
Right.
Twosomes that you could make threesomes and cut some tee times off. So I do wonder if this means Saturday they'll have to play threesomes because of time, if you know what I'm saying, that it'll be so late in the day that they'll have to, because this is going to finish Saturday morning. I mean, you can get your bet on it now.
Absolutely.
It'll be difficult to get everything in tomorrow. By the way, the one tee time off of, not necessarily the negative, but off of all of that for a second, there is one great tee time that's about to happen. Cam Smith is playing with Padraig Harrington and Miles Russell. Miles Russell's the amateur. What's he, 17?
Is this the homeschool kid from Jacksonville Beach?
Yeah, he's 17.
Right. He's entering senior year of high school.
Right. He's 17.
Yes.
That's how old he is.
Yeah.
Did you hear me mention he's playing with Padraig Harrington?
Right.
Padraig's 54.
Right.
I mean, that's wild.
There's a chance Padraig will be wearing an article of clothing that is older than him.
There's something in Padraig's bag that's as old as him. Whether it's a ball marker, something I would almost, maybe not because he's a pro, but you would almost think he definitely has clubs in his closet. He has putters that are much older than his playing partner.
I think he might be wearing a pair of socks that are older than Miles Russell.
I don't know. I mean, that's an old pair. I mean,
Lucky socks?
You wouldn't wear them that often. I mean, you wear socks that much, David. You go through them. I mean,
I understand it.
Even the Bombas, maybe the best sock ever made. I can't see myself getting 17 years out of a pair of Bombas.
I was just really superstitious about articles of clothing. So, I don't know. I mean,
you and I also lack this certain thing, David.
It's called cash.
Money.
I got it.
Right.
I know.
So
I know.
we hang on to items a little longer than Padraig. But Padraig could be, I mean, there's a chance he could have a putter that's his. In fact, he almost should play with a putter that's older than his playing partner.
He definitely has something in his bag, Mark. I would totally make that bet with you. In fact, if we were Russell's caddy, we would say, let's loosen things up. We're going to go up to Padraig and we're going to say, I got $20 that says you've got something in your bag older than him.
Well, they happened to, and I have it on, and that they showed the age difference earlier. If this, USA, NBC Golf right here, now that you have a couple extra hours and they're not going off during that break, I would have had whoever their sideline guy is, if you will, or gal, I'd have gone to Padraig's caddy and just said, hey, if he can give us 2 minutes, great. If not, you got to ask him if he's got something in his bag older than Miles. Because I think Padraig would laugh. I do think he'd get a smile. He's a good guy. So I think that, that would be one I would go with. The other thing is if I was Padraig, and I've done it before because, that's similar almost to the difference between I'm older than he is and my daughter's younger than Miles. So I've had to learn a little of the kids' lingo to drive my daughter crazy. Padraig last night should have at least, Googled a handful of Gen Z words. So if Miles hits a good shot, he could say whatever it is that the kids say just to get a look out of his playing partner. Because I would think, honestly, I know Miles is a great player and he could end up being a star in this game. I mean, he's expected to be. He has a lot of pressure on him. And he went from having Tiger's son caddy for him in the qualifying for the U.S. Open to now having his swing coach. I don't necessarily love that move personally. A swing coach is great, but that puts even more pressure on you. Miles said he was as loose as he's ever been playing because he and Charlie Woods, they're friends. And they were just kicking it around when they played golf. He said, we didn't talk a lot of golf. That's great. So now he's going to be more serious. If Padraig were to say something in Miles' vernacular, I think it would lighten the hell up out of him early. And I think Padraig, First off, you want your whole group to play well. Golf's a lot more fun, even at their level, when guys are all playing well. It's hard enough to play Shinnecock as it is. I'd have to think it's even tougher when you're, tight.
Well, and not only that, when you're going to have a 6-hour round guaranteed.
Right.
And that was before the fog delay. But you're having 2 of them now for sure. I'm just wondering if your body, do you go back and forth from miles? By the way, you've got the 3 generations. Couldn't you do your lingo? Okay. Who else is he with?
Cam Smith.
Okay. And then doesn't Cam Smith split the difference?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
Body's a Gen Xer, Cam's a millennial, and then they got a Gen Zer in this kid. They got them all.
I mean, couldn't he, I'd almost have my thesaurus list of words in front of me, and I don't know if I try to mess Miles up by going with my lingo or his lingo.
Well, our lingo at our age is just the F word for everything, David. I mean, that's our answer to just about everything. Adjective, adverb, verb, noun, it doesn't matter. We can use it 6 times in one sentence if we really want to. So, but the U.S. Open back on after a 2-hour delay because of fog. They will not finish today. The last 2 times are 4:30. These guys are not playing in 4 hours.
No way.
5 would be a miracle. Honestly, 5 would be a miracle in threesomes at the U.S. Open.
Okay. Do they make it through 13?
I would say that sounds about right. If they can get to that level where they're at 13, they can get a lot more done than David, if they're on 13, they can finish tomorrow, because that means they can start setting up pretty quickly for the guys that are teeing off. That means they can probably, they can be maybe only an hour behind tomorrow, if you know what I mean. Now, I don't know how much rolling and cutting they would do in between. That would be the question.
Spieth, Rose, and Rahm will have about 4 hours and 15 minutes till sundown. Where do you think they get? I think they get stopped on 14.
Well, if they get stopped on 14, David, that means that they haven't finished 9 holes for everybody. I'm just telling you. There's still more groups behind them.
No, I know. There's because they're 409, and there's groups that go for another 35 minutes. So that's at least 3 more tee times.
Yeah. Does the last group get to 10?
I say yes, but not to 11.
Which means we're at least an hour behind on all tee times for tomorrow. The Pro Hour. Hello, Jacksonville. Hello, Tampa. We're Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at
Well,
AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I love it. I just was perusing Facebook and I got a friend who's in Spain. He goes, I learned something today. It was a post from yesterday. Spain doesn't like Portugal much based on the reaction of the Congo's goal. I love it. Absolutely love it. But Jules, did they ask him if he owns anything, if anything in his bag is older than his playing partner? That's the question you need. I appreciate you letting me know. I do, truthfully.
For nearly
Why, thank you, Jules. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, or Moulton on X. Tomorrow's the Best of show, heading into Father's Day weekend. So Mark unveiled his Father's Day poll question today. Kind of curious, how's it going?
Well, right there, steak dinner winning, to be left alone second, spending time with family last. Not surprised by that. I voted steak dinner, and that's mainly because I haven't had one in so damn long.
I understand.
That's really the reason behind it.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, the question is a selfish question. What is it you would want? You haven't had a steak dinner in 5 months. You would want a steak dinner. Okay.
Today's national or international sushi day, too. Can't have that either. Love me some sushi. I've been craving it. And the daughter and wife will have it without me, which is even more about it. Because my wife and daughter could go without a steak for basically the rest of time. It wouldn't bother them one way or another. But they go get sushi without me, and that hurts. But I don't blame them one bit. I don't. I get it. I haven't had a drink since December. My wife started out being a little timid. She's like, "Can you make me a martini?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Someone's got to be able to drink in this house. Might as well be you. You work a hell of a lot harder than I do." I don't mind making you a cocktail. That doesn't bother me one bit.
In fact, I'll make you two.
But that's what I try to get her to do. It's like, come on, get drunk.
Just got a little something, no?
Right. Give me a chance here. So, yeah, Father's Day should be selfish. I mean, you're a father because you have children, but yes, you should be allowed to be selfish on Father's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're asking what is it you would want for your perfect Father's Day. So,
because I don't think a lot of us are given the opportunity to be selfish. I think a lot of us are told what we're doing on Father's Day. Hey, it's Father's Day. Everybody's going to come over. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And no one says, what do you want? I mean, I did get asked by my daughter because I'm cheap. I don't buy brand new golf balls. If I do, I get the Costco ones. I lose too many golf balls. And the little place down the road has the big bin of Titleist, AVXs, Pro V1s, and Pro V1X. It's $10 for a dozen used balls. I don't give a damn. I'm a 12 handicap. Really, is a new Titleist going to make that much of a difference in my game? The answer is no. And the answer is no for 90% of you listening. There's probably people listening that are, 4 handicaps and better. I'm sure that there are. For you, go buy yourself whatever ball that you like. For the rest of us, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. My wife says, "What do you want?" I says, take Maddie to the golf store. There's a big bin of Titleist there. Get me a dozen. I said, "You want to go nuts? Get me 2 dozen. It's going to cost you $21 and change with tax." I said, "I'll be happy as a clam." That means I don't have to go buy them. So, that was, my dad every year for his birthday, for Christmas, and for Father's Day got a dozen brand new Titleist, whatever the Titleist was of the day. And I'm sure, I might have started at a Wilson Pro Staff. That's how long. Because I remember that being a very popular ball in the late 70s.
Right.
But
maybe you jumped on the Pinnacle craze for an hour.
Right. And my father, particularly when Pro Vs became the ball that people played, my father was a guy who had no problem buying 10 guys at the bar a drink. Had no problem picking up the tab. No problem going out for a nice dinner. Never was shy about spending money. If he broke open a sleeves of Pro Vs, and my dad was a good player. My dad was a single-digit handicap, hit the ball very straight. So he didn't lose many balls. If my dad broke open a new sleeve of Provies and dumped one in the water within 3 shots, he was pissed for 4 holes. Don't ask me why, but that bothered him. So free golf balls to Fred. That he was just as happy as can be. That made his day. He didn't feel nearly as badly when he lost those.
So obviously, your daughter is about to become a teen, and my daughter's going to be 30 soon. And my wife says to me, well, what are we doing for Father's Day? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, like, what are we doing with our daughter and son-in-law? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't a joint thing. I go, if I was him, I'd go, and all of a sudden, my father-in-law is dictating what my Father's Day is going to be like? Yeah, I don't think so.
Interesting. I'm on your wife's side here. I think you're the king of the castle still, David.
Nuh-uh.
Because here's the reason why. You are a grandfather. Your daughter has a couple children, but here's the deal. Those children are not yet old enough to make any decisions regarding Father's Day. So outside of giving daddy whatever his wife bought for the kids to give him that morning when he wakes up, after that, it's about what she, your daughter, wants to do for you, her father. And you know what he has to do? Come along for the ride.
Oh, no, I feel that's obnoxious. I feel he's earned his Father's Day.
Not even close. Not even close at this point.
Huh.
No way. I'm on the side of the wife here. You can let her know after the show. I'm on her side.
I would have been furious if it had happened in reverse.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Can't you tell by my voice that I'm shocked that you would be offended by this?
Well, I've earned this day. He's earned his day. We don't have to spend them together. I spend enough days with him. Okay?
Yeah,
he spends enough days with me.
He's been a father for an hour and a half. You've been doing it for almost 30 years. No way. I'm not on his side here. I'm on your wife's. You're the king of the castle, damn it.
I do outrank him, but I think it's obnoxious to flex those muscles on this day. I think, no, he's entitled to his day.
Well, I mean, sure, if your wife was smart, she'd say, here, it's Father's Day. I'm going to leave the 2 kids with you. I'm going to go see my dad.
I was kind of thinking of it like she grabs the 2 kids, okay, comes over, not that I want to see the 2 kids, but my wife does. So now you make the wife happy, which then gets me off the hook, makes my son-in-law happy. What does he get? He's left alone on Father's Day. I make everybody happy.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't think he has any clout yet. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, I could take the clout from him. I'm trying to be nice. I mean, he's sleep deprived also. I mean, he could use a day. He's a big golfer, huge soccer fan. I mean, for him to sit around and watch the World Cup and the US Open, I mean, that'd be a dream day for him. Instead, I got to rope him into coming over to see me.
And watch the World Cup in golf with you.
Yeah, but then everybody else is going to be in the room. I got to talk to him. No.
Miller and Moulton. David does not think he deserves to be king of the castle. I do, but I'm not yet a grandfather, so I don't understand how this works. Telling you this much, since, it's a long way before I'll be that way with my daughter. When my son has kids, I'll tell him right now, I'm the king of the castle, buddy. Don't know what to tell you. I come first and you can come after that.
I'm the king of the castle, buddy.
Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'll go Buddy again if I have to.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
I just do that. Yeah, of course steak wins over family. For Father's Day, come on. I mean, I couldn't put cocaine and hookers on the poll question. I could have, but that's a little too obnoxious now, isn't it? Hey, we got two guys under par for the moment. Someone birdied 3 and someone birdied 1. That's why I played it, Lodge. That's what I played it. That was the reason I played it when he got designated for assignment.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
Couple of guys that finally made a birdie, David.
Uh-oh.
We've got 2 guys in red figures. I mean, we're very early. Brandon Wu birdied the first hole, and I believe James Nichols birdied the third hole. He's through 4. But I was wondering how long it was going to take to see anybody be under par, even if it was just for a moment.
Now you've changed the over-under number on me. Yesterday, it was how many people under par after round 1? 4.5. Today, with everything that's gone on, you've reduced it to 3.5.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to go with?
Well, I mean, you can, I moved it down 1. I moved it from 4.5 to 3.5, given the fact that I'm watching the wind blow at about 25 miles an hour. It's windy. I don't think as many guys will shoot under par as before. That's all.
All right.
I mean, you can go over.
Yeah, but I really don't want to. I'll stay under.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's part of the game.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1682 when William Penn founds Philadelphia. Happy birthday, Philadelphia. Today in 1812, a war began. When coming up with the name, they really dug hard. They thought about this more than Miller and Moulton thought about naming our show Miller and Moulton. It's the War of 1812 when the U.S. declares war against Britain. Beat their asses again.
Hey, I give them credit that they decided War of 1812. I mean, they could have decided, June.
It's true.
They could have decided Wednesday. I mean, they at least.
Well, then you're guessing how long it's going to go, and we all know that can be problematic.
True.
1815, the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon and France are defeated by the Brits. All right, now we're out of the wars and a long time ago. Let's get a little more recent. I mean, at least, almost in our lifetime. Today in 1960, at Cherry Hills, Arnold Palmer stages the greatest comeback in tournament history. He erases a 7-stroke final round deficit to win his only U.S. Open, beating Jack by 2. 67, Jack gets him back again. This time at Baltusrol, Jack would shoot a final round 65 for a new tournament record and beat Palmer by 4. That same day, by the way, David, here, I got a question for you after I give you this. Today was the closing day of the Monterey Pop Festival. Jimmy, Janis, The Who, and Otis Redding all played. You get one to be at. Jack shooting 65 to win the Open, or seeing the first major U.S. appearance of Hendrix, Janis, The Who, and Otis. And again, we don't really know who Janis and Jimmy are at this point. What would you pick?
I would take the music.
All right. Jack wins again, his third Open today in 72. That one at Pebble, won by 3.
That was the famous 1 iron on 17 that he nearly holed it.
In 76, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn voids the Oakland A's sales of players, which was Joe Rudy and Raleigh Fingers to Boston and Vita Blue for the Yankees, totaling $35 million. Kuhn nixed it.
Now remember, what year is this?
1976.
Right. They've just had a 5-year run where they won the 71 division, the 75 division, and then they won 3 World Series in the middle. And Finley decides, I can't afford it. I got to break them up. And Bowie Kuhn went, no. That's not how it works. So wait a year, free agency came into play.
And he got nothing. 83, Sally Ride becomes the first American woman into space on Challenger 2. Today in 84 at Winged Foot, Fuzzy whoops Norman in the 18-hole playoff. Remember, Fuzzy waved the towel the day prior when Norman had the great round, and Norman waved the towel at Fuzzy after his performance in the playoff.
I was at Winged Foot for the Sunday. Okay, I was at 18 when Norman sank the 40-footer and Fuzzy waved the towel and what have you.
86, Don Sutton with the Angels becomes the 19th to win 300 games. Today in 2000, Tiger wins his first U.S. Open. It wasn't like it was tight or anything. He won by 15. By 15 shots at Pebble.
Remember the drama was we found out well afterwards that Stevie had lost track of golf balls and that Tiger played the last couple holes with the same golf ball and that there were no other balls in the bag.
2001, they started the Fast and the Furious thing. It premiered. Then they made 6,000 other ones. 2006, also at Winged Foot, Jeff Ogilvy wins. I really bring it up because that's when Furyk, Monty, and Phil all failed to par the 72nd hole after Ogilvy pars the final 2 to win by 1. Koepka wins his first major today in 2017 at Erin Hills. George Mikan, Lou Brock, and Roger Ebert, the film critic, who have all celebrated birthdays. Sir Paul is 84. Bruce Smith, 63. Sandy Alomar Jr. is 60. Martin St. Louis is 41. So is Jeff Saturday. Martin St. Louis is 51. Jeff Saturday, 51. Blake Shelton, 50. Antonio Gates is 46. And Evan Mobley is 25. What did I miss, David?
I don't think you missed anything.
Good.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I've got Jonathan the Tortoise. Jonathan the Tortoise is the oldest living land mammal. He turned 194 the other day. His birth year is estimated to be 1832 at the latest, but researchers believe he may be even older. Way to go. For the bad, we go to the state of Washington and Bremerton, where a 19-year-old driver is facing multiple charges after crashing a car through a closed garage door. Apparently, the vehicle burst through the garage and hit a parked car in an apartment complex. Then, the driver fled, but he returned to the scene shortly thereafter. Turns out he was tripping on mushrooms. Finally, the ugly, we go to Australia, where More than 100,000 illegal cockroaches have been seized. It is the largest ever seizure of the bugs. Apparently, the haul of Madagascar hissing cockroaches is worth 142 grand. A commercial breeder was busted. They are kept because people feed them to their reptiles. And they're so big that that's why people like these particular cockroach. They're about 1.5 inches long. Or I'm sorry, they're 2 to 3 inches long, much bigger than the Australian cockroach. Now, being a Southwest Floridian and having seen my fair share of enormous cockroaches, I question anybody who would raise cockroaches. I don't care how much money is in it. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly, along with my opinion piece on cockroaches here on Miller and Moulton. It's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay, benefits, overtime, other jobs available. You know where to go. CapeCops.com, CapeCops.com.
Only 9 baseball games today. Yankees try to finish off the sweep of the White Sox. Marlins and Rays both off. Got the 4 World Cup matches, 3 of them on Fox. Czechia, South Africa at noon. Switzerland and Bosnia at 3. And Mexico, South Korea at 9. The lone FS1 match is at 6 o'clock, Canada and Qatar.
Glenn Davis on the show earlier thinks that the Mexico-Korea match could be a doozy. He called Mexico overrated. Hopefully he said that quietly at Houston. That could get him yelled at. That's I'm fighting words in Houston, Texas right there. But he might be right. Obviously, Canada, the United States, and Mexico all hoping and, quite frankly, expecting to get out of group.
Yes. All given pretty manageable groups.
Yes. Very much so.
Right, that's being kind.
All right. Since we're off tomorrow, David, does the U.S. get it done Friday afternoon against the Aussies?
Yes. But I think it's 3-2.
That's a lot of Genos, man.
I know. But our style is to go forward. And I don't think that we're going to play a different way.
I don't either. I just don't know if they could. If we get to 3, I don't think they can.
No, I don't either. But I think we may have to get to it.
I'm going to predict a draw.
Oh, nothing more exciting than that.
There's been a lot of great ones in this tournament. And we'll see how everybody reacts on Monday, if they're 2-0 or if they're 1-0-1, or for that matter, 1-1. Ouch.
Do we have to load up on a baseball game tonight? Are the Braves really going to get swept by the Giants? And they've lost 6 of 7, have the Braves. I mean, they're not going to lose tonight, are they?
I don't think so.
I know they're favored, but
not that much. Minus 140s. I mean, for a team as good as the Braves, that's not a monster number.
No, they're 19 over 500, and the Giants are like 12 below. And this is a huge mismatch. I'm just wondering, do you have to load up?
Do either AL Central teams win and not get swept? Guardians at the Brewers, they've already lost 2. You're getting plus money on them, and you're certainly getting plus money on the White Sox taking on the Yankees in the Bronx.
Gotta say, the White Sox have not even been competitive in these 2 games.
No, they have not.
I think I'd bet on Cleveland with their pitching, but put it this way.
Little
I was going to say,
little Giants Guardians parlay. I mean, little Braves Guardians parlay.
no.
You got
If
the-
anything, I'm wondering, do we load up on the Yankees and the Brewers and the Braves?
The one team I would take today, and it's Nola pitching. The Phillies are going to get the Mets. They lost yesterday. If they'd have won yesterday, they beat your Mets today.
By the way, who does Major League Baseball scheduling? It's the first time these two teams are playing all year. Come on. What the heck are you doing?
That's probably good. If the Mets would have played them earlier this year, they'd have been swept, David.
The Mets deserve everything bad that could come their way. They've earned it. But come on. Got to have rivals play each other more than once in the first 3 months of the season? Come on.
Cardinals and Royals. That used to be that's a nice little thing there. But the Cardinals way over their skis, and the Royals, well, they suck.
I'm waiting for the Royals manager to get fired.
You know what? In the American League, how could you not think about it right now? Again, even the Royals, 2 good weeks, they're back in the wild card race, Dave. Hell, they might be a wild card team in 2 weeks if they, you put together a 10-3 week, you're right there. Miller and Moulton will be back on Monday, tomorrow, a best of, talking some World Cup and some U.S. Open. Have a great Father's Day weekend, everyone.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.